Stay here for one more time. You need to feel like singing, but you better keep on singing. We'll be your friends if you sing our song. All your friends are here and we're watching. As you lose your grip, we're here watching. All your friends are here and we're watching. As you lose your grip, we're here watching. Cover me in colors I can only see with you. I'd be better with another, but I always pick you. I try my best to fight it, can't deny it. Touches diamonds, and you're probably the reason that I'm so messed up too. I can't stop it, it's ugly but honest. Got me tripping for the way you say my name, say my name, say my name. Could count the ways you drive me so insane, but when you call I still fall back into your game. Play the game, play the game. Wrong can still be right. People wanna tell me all the time that someday my prince will come, but if this ain't love, then I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. Hands are in my denim, but your heart's not with them. Tearing up the thought of all the pieces missing. And I try to know better, to know it's worse. I swear I'm cursed, 'cause I know you're bad for me, but it makes no difference. No, no, I can't stop it, it's ugly but honest. Got me tripping for the way you say my name, say my name, say my name. Wrong can still be right. People wanna tell me all the time that
Welcome back, guys. We are here for the APAC qualifier for the 6th Invitational. We're down into the semi-finals, and we have Cyclops one map up over Mercenaries. It's a pretty historic game here, Gus. First time South Asia is playing against a team outside of South Asia, but it maybe hasn't gone quite as well as the South Asian fans would have hoped.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a rough induction here for Mercenaries in the South Asian region. Unfortunately for them, they went down 3-7 to Cyclops on map number 1, which was Oregon. Mercenaries, they put up a great fight. Again, considering all the circumstances, they played quite well. Cyclops, they are just another level above their opponents, though.
Very much so. Now let's have a bit of a recap of the map video that we saw, so we know where we're up to at the moment. Oregon was the first map that we have played. That was Mercenaries' pick, and they did lose it to Cyclops 7-3. And of course leaves us up next with Consulate, and then should Mercenaries win that, we'll go to Clubhouse. If Cyclops win Consulate, their map pick, then it's just all over for Mercenaries. They are eliminated from the tournament, and Cyclops will progress to that grand final. And, well, it's pretty grim, isn't it, guys? Like, we don't necessarily expect Consulate to be a good map for Mercenaries, and quite the opposite for Cyclops.
Yeah, if you are just joining us, maybe you missed the pre-show, we did talk about this quite a bit. That Consulate, not only is it a good map for Cyclops, going 6-1 this year, but it also is a poor map for Mercenaries. They played Union Gaming in their last match. In fact, it was just the other day, and they lost to them 2-7 on this second map. So very, very rough. result for them, and it's tough to see Mercenaries get up here, especially off the back of that loss. We said they had to win it in 3. Now that's looking really, really challenging. I don't think we can really just describe just how tough this is probably going to be for them.
Yeah, this is absolutely... there's a mountain to climb, and that mountain just got a whole lot bigger. And Consulate is certainly going to be a challenge for Mercenaries. Cyclops, though, on the other hand, for a long time, they've been the best in Japan. And, well, there are currently no Japanese teams qualified for the 6th Invitational. Now, it's pretty rare that that happens, actually. Cyclops was actually there last year. In the past, we've seen Norengo make it, but Cyclops are, well, not quite Japan's last hope, but perhaps Japan's best hope of performing when it comes to these global events. So they're definitely wanting to just make this a quick 2-0 and start practicing for their match tomorrow. I feel like that's the way 100%. It's most likely going to go. But Mercenaries, they have shown that they can make some big plays. What's it going to take, though?
Yeah, as you said, Cyclops will want to get through this one quite quickly because they will be versing the winner of our next match tonight, of course, Guts and Xavier, and neither of those opponents will be pushovers. So the quicker that Cyclops can just get through this, show the least amount of VOD material, strain themselves the least as well, they can just relax for the rest of the night. That'd be great for them. So if they can just clean up here on Consulate, they'll be sitting pretty cozy for tomorrow.
Yeah, very much so. And well, Cyclops already came off a quarterfinal 2-0 over Q Confirm. A team that actually does play in the APAC North League, not so much for Mercenaries. I think Cyclops would expect of themselves they can do just as good, if not better here. Now, Consulate, by all rights, should be pretty dominant, but I don't know, what is it that we can say about this? Mercenaries don't have the best track record, but is the track record really going to mean everything? You're going up against Cyclops. Sometimes maybe it's just about punishing the playstyle.
Well, Consulate, I mean, this is probably not the best way to describe it, but I'm going to say it anyway. It can be a little bit of a monkey map, right? You just have players jumping out, players doing crazy things all over the shot. The map is just, it's almost completely broken at the moment. Upstairs, you can't defend it. The win rate's like 10% or something. Split is now in the meta. It's just a crazy map. And South Asia, to their credit, can be a little bit crazy like that. They like to be a little bit creative, a little bit aggressive. We saw that Mercenaries on their defenses on Oregon going for opening pick swings on random parts of the map and do crazy stuff like that. So if they can try and continue that, maybe amplify it to another level here on Consulate, maybe that'll throw off Cyclops. Sure, they're an APAC North team. They're probably used to that kind of play style, but if they could just elevate it another level above that, it could well work.
Well, Cyclops is a team that thrives on the chaos, and we are here on Chaos Central on Consulate. But it is the last chance for South Asia to make it to the 6th Invitational. And South Asian hopes land on Mercenaries. Let's see if Cyclops can do away with them. A lot of luck coming out in the chat from Anderson. Mercenaries actually banned the Blackbeard this time around.
Yeah, and Mercenaries were the team that was 6-picking it on the last map, so pretty interesting there. I guess you can argue that Consulate, a map that heavily relies on repels, just exemplifies the strengths of Blackbeard, so probably not a bad decision to take him off the board if you just don't want to have to deal with that. Cyclops following it up onto a Nomad. So these bans already playing out very, very differently to the last map, Dev. If you remember, it was Thatcher and Twitch, so very, very heavy on the util side of the game. Whereas on this occasion, it's one, a frustration ban out the way, and Nomad, of course, proficient in cutting off those runouts and those rotates, which are really common on Consulate.
And you know what? Both of these attacking operator bans are going to facilitate defender aggression, which is already the thing that you highlighted, right? In the preamble. Blackbeard is an operator that you can't just swing and peek him. You can't play aggressively because he's got the shield. He'll tank the shots and take you out. Nomad, an operator that just prevents you from running out and doing these cheeky jump outs and run outs. And, well, she's off the table, so it's going to be much easier to play into that aggressive play style. The one redeeming factor for the attacking side is that there is that Valkyrie gone, which would otherwise enable the defense from the aggression from the defenders. So thankfully, for the attacking lineup, that's gone.
Well, looks like basement will be the first point of interest here on Consulate. Mercenaries electing, of course, to go there. They are starting on the defense, and maybe they'll be able to find a little bit more comfort in that. They didn't look great on their attacks on Oregon, but they looked all right on their defenses. They should be able to carry that across here, hopefully onto Consulate. Again, a map that they'll be trying to play into that aggression. It will facilitate that. I was hoping that maybe they'd actually stick the pulse there, but they elected not to. I think it was a 6 pick. Either that or it was a late pick and then a 6 pick onto the Jaeger. So they are electing actually to bring Jaeger, Wamai, Malusi, Maestro. I mean, even the mutes you can add into that. So that's a lot of utility that Mercenaries are trying to lean into here, as opposed to maybe playing a little bit more off info, such as that Pulse, and maybe some more aggressive operators that facilitate a roam, like Vigil, for example.
This, very much looks like Mercenaries are playing almost, some people would call it the old meta. You know, the terminology 20-second meta is used. Well, I prefer the term utility sync meta, because it's about syncing the attacker's utility until they have none left. And, well, I mean, that's what we do have, as you mentioned. Jaeger, Wamai, Malusi, Maestro all have utility that either catches projectiles or is some kind of bulletproof utility that you need projectiles to dismantle. But Cyclops' thing is, like, with the new meta, right? Look at their explosive lineup. They got 3 from Ash, 2 nades on Gatorada and Dokkaebi, who's now got nades, and 2 on Anderson. This is also a stack up. No time wasted. 20 seconds into the round, and Suzu has dodged those mute jammers by putting the explosives on either side and open up that main wall.
As well as that, Blackray actually sending in a shock drone really early after that breach exploded. I think the drone's now under White Van, and that will be able to facilitate more of that utility clearance. Important to remember that Maestro cameras can be taken out by Twitch drone with 2 shots as well. We're seeing a lot of teams in the last couple of weeks pick Twitch at a higher rate. And of course, it's for a couple of reasons, due to just the nature of the meta. Twitch, of course, having flashbangs as well, which can be quite useful, and keen to see how that will play out in this map. Gatorada with some good intel over towards the front circle desk. This will be a big pick if he manages to get it, but Maker says, no thank you, I'll take the first. And it's the Dokkaebi taken off the board.
If I was Maker right now, I'd be chucking a GN in chat. I don't know about you, but that was a nasty, nasty shot. And not only does that then sync up some of Cyclops' nades, but also the pesky little logic bomb phone calls. Maker's going to be pretty happy with himself. He was the player to clutch the 1v3 on Oregon, and is already stepping it up here. Well, the Cyclops have good map control, though. In Piano, Anderson can open up the floor. A nade, though, might mean the end of Fatah, and indeed it does. Cyclops have just turned up the heat. Mercenaries falling like flies. Hasib and Maker, the last 2 players remaining, but only 3 enemies to find. That said, it's all on Hasib now.
And Hasib gets taken out from that Yoda position over towards the yellow stairs. Blackray with the F2 puts that to good use. I think he knew it was coming as well, whether that was a sound or info call. Doesn't really... Picks up that final one on the board. Good start from Cyclops. Just classic Consulate, really, on that attack. They got the garage open so quickly. They transferred that to above control. And I honestly don't even feel... If it was Anderton playing the sledge on the last round, it didn't feel like he even did that much displacement on site. He just got the nade kill inside a bathroom and went, oh yeah, let's just hit the site now. We're good boys. And that's what they did.
That's it. A lot of kills were off camera, right? But no doubt there was a lot of impact there with, well, it was pretty early 4v2, right? Established by Cyclops. We only saw a couple of those kills. There's lots of individual things happening. And in Rainbow Six, it's not a game where there's, one soccer ball you got to chase. It's all moving parts. There's players all over the map. You can have 100 different things happening at once. And, well, that's what Cyclops did so well. Each individual player assigned their own task, completed it. Now, Mercenaries, though, they're not going to dwell too much on their previous failures. They're not going to stay downstairs. They're going to move up to lobby press room. And, well, you mentioned that the top floor bomb site, console office, and meeting, while it may be really common at ranked, it's starting to see quite a lack of success for defenders in professional level play. So it's really no surprise that lobby is the second choice here for Mercs.
Yep, exactly right. We'd be very surprised to see teams go here. Sure, we might see them extend above, right? We're seeing that from Mercenaries at the moment, investing in utility above. Looks like maybe even a Vulcan shield reinforcement. Maybe some vert holes as well by the looks of things. So, sure, we might not see the specific objective selected, but it doesn't mean it doesn't see any play. Even if we head over towards split in the next round, some teams on the attack will sweep across this top 4 as well. So, it's not going to be a dead part of the map by any means. As you said, Siege, a lot of moving parts, and a lot of moving parts around the map spread out across multiple floors.
Look at this focus from CAG, all outside the yellow stairs in the garage. Water drones filed on in as well, getting information. They well and truly know where MI7 is. Flashbang comes through, forces him back. Black Ray now has Garage as well. 5-on-5 still. What a great angle from Fatah, though, looking all the way down to the bottom of Yellow Stairs to support his teammates.
Oh, that was unlucky there for MI7. Gets his head taken off by Suzu on that yellow rappel. It looks like Cyclops are trying to choke out this position as much as possible, but Maker puts his foot down and finds that kill back. Of course, he's playing alongside Fatah, who had that vert that we saw earlier. Doctor as well coming to assist on this location. Gets time though. That could have been a big pick. Halfway point in the round now, Devon. They are still fighting so heavily for this yellow control.
Finally, Maker goes down though. Such an important player in console office. Doctor trying to hold on to the bottom of yellow as much as he can, but he's pushed on off as well. Aegator goes down. Fatah, wonder whether that was through the vertical angles or not, but Mercenaries are very much giving as much as they're receiving here. It is the spirit of Christmas, I suppose, and, well, 3v3, this could definitely go either way.
Minute on the board. Black Ray with the diffuser still outside over towards the south near that front door, so expect him to likely go for a front door plant. Qatar, he won't be complaining about that, assuming he still has gas canisters. He'll be able to deny that. And Gatorada will be in a position to try and deny that from above. So a lot of mini games to still be played in this round with 40 seconds left. Barricade gets shot down, and CAG now start to think, how are they going to get this plant down, and how will they cover Black Ray from being taken out?
Anderson ready to swing this hammer and support his teammates. Where will the execute come from? Looking for any Eagle Eyes on the bomb site to dispatch with 20 seconds left. Things are about to get hot. Hasib checks what Eagle Eyes he's got to deny the plant. Still has one on both objectives. Fatah also 3 gases. He takes a lot of damage though from the Vulcan shield. Already exploded and he goes down. But now it's a, oh my god, 1v1. And it's incessant. Black Ray is choked out and finished off by the Evil Eye. Hasib to clutch it on the Maestro. And Mercenaries go 1 for 1.
Wow, look, that was a pretty hectic round, but I think that the key thing for me is the fact that the Maestro still had utility in sight there. No matter how early that plant came out, that probably would have caused some issues, and I'm not sure if the likes of Anaton and others still had explosives to clear that. Maybe they just didn't see it. It was in a little bit of a difficult position. I don't think the attackers did actually have vert on that specific location, or if they did, it was a pretty tight angle. So that was an oversight from CAG. Sure, there was the double kill, I think it was, from Doctor, which probably cost them the round ultimately, but that was just a nice little cherry on top, if you would, for Mercenaries, and they take that round quite comfortably in the end. I mean, Fatah probably not as comfortable. He got burnt to a crisp by the flame trying to deny the plant, but he did just enough to delay that inevitable push.
Yeah, and in fact, it was that gas canister at the end that soaked up a lot of HP from 2 of those players that tried to go for the plant. And of course, when you're using like the smoke, right, it's a little bit of damage over time. It's actually quite a lot of damage, but it's damage over time, right? It's not an outright kill like a C4 would be. And that's very much the same story of an Evil Eyes Maestro laser, right? It's a little bit of damage over time. So when you combine those two, it really becomes very fast acting. You can sink someone from 100 to 0 very, very quickly, and we very much saw that in the flesh. Now, Mercenaries are actually starting to look like they're playing a bit more aggressively for once. We've got the Vigil, an operator that you typically see embrace the roam, and I think that's exactly what we need to see here from Mercenaries.
Yeah, I think Vigil is the obvious one to look at when you think about aggression in this lineup, but the second one that really comes to mind for me is the Warden. It's an operator that doesn't see a whole lot of play. Of course, Doctor playing it on this ground, but the MPX with an angled and the 1.5, that could do some serious damage. And of course, Warden can bring a deployable shield as well, which is really good utility. If CAG were to decide to bring, I don't even know, like a Ying or flashbangs and get quite aggressive on that, that would be a great counter pick as well. So expect Doctor to really get in the face of the attackers.
Again, loses a lot of info as his drone dies there. We're at a 4v4. 2 individual exchanges went down. quite sure exactly where, I admit. Oh, wonderful usage of Ace's Selmas there to flush out that position. And Hasib also finished off. Completely flushed out of that position. Great control, but it's back and forth between these teams. Mercenaries never let Cyclops have the last word, but they're fighting from behind. 2 players remaining, still 3 up for Cyclops.
M7 playing. Yeah, there could be an engagement with the Twitch. Loses it though, so it's Doctor. Over towards Long, progresses now towards this front desk and positions himself inside of bathroom. He can deny the yellow push. That's a great pick there onto Black Ray. It's Anaton and Gator now to try and trade it out in the 2-on-1.
It's that Warden that you mentioned with the 1.5 times scope on the MPX. Pinned between a rock and a hard place, but he knows he doesn't have to peek. They have to rappel inside. He can just wait. But there's a lot of time for Cyclops to do the same. If Doctor moves here, either direction, he's likely a dead man. Takes a bit of damage from the breaching round, but not enough to kill him. So he can sit pretty. Anaton and Gator together are just waiting. Gator actually rotates off. Is he going to go to the meeting balcony? It's a rotation from Cyclops. All the while, the clock ticking down, and Doctor, he has the chance to clutch this, but he is pinned. He has to win this fight onto Anaton.
I think Gator, he's played the percentage, right? He knows that he can't repel him safely. He goes over towards meeting, and surely Anaton can cover it, or even just go on the roof himself, and they could just even double stack meeting. I'm not sure that was the play. With 20 seconds left, Doctor knows that they've rotated. He has that vault covered.
This is such a good position now for Doctor. This has swung the other way. Time is ticking away. Cyclops, 10 seconds left. You've got to make a play. Anaton finally gets to help his teammate, but Doctor finds one. Only one more kill left. Can Anaton hold on? He can't get to Doctor in time. And that's a clutch. In a 1 versus 2 for the Warden. Mercenaries take the advantage. 2-1 on Consulate.
Wow, that was really well played by Doctor. He used the sound cues of the rappelling to the roof to his advantage. He knew that he was no longer pinned towards bathroom by Anaton. They tried, CAG that is, to go for a play and potentially trade it out or cover the plant if that play was able to get deep in towards the site, but it didn't quite work out. I think, on reflection, Cyclops won't be very happy with the way that they played that out. I mean, even Gator there, just sprinting deep towards Con, maybe trying to find the pick. Like, yeah, it just felt very weird the way that the attackers decided to play that out. But again, full credit to Doctor. He held his nerve and found those picks. It was well played in the end from him.
And that was actually a 1 versus 3 for Doctor. I took note. Very impressive. That's what the second 1 versus 3 we've seen Mercenaries win all night. If I'm not wrong, I don't think Cyclops has hit a single clutch yet. Maybe some 1v1s, but I don't quite count them as, you know, a proper 1 versus X clutch. But credit to Mercenaries, even if overall they have been a bit behind Cyclops, particularly on Oregon, there is some serious talent on this roster. And it's kind of blowing my mind right now that after we had really hyped up Cyclops on Consulate and kind of condemned Mercenaries, keeping in mind that they lost 7-2 to Union on this map just the other day. They're now on the lead here, guys.
Yeah, I mean, bit of a bold statement here, but they've probably won more rounds already than I would have expected, especially considering the fact that they are 1-0 down in this series, right? And this is Cyclops' map pick. We're expecting Cyclops to be dominant. Sure, they're on the attack on Consulate, but it's not really that defend-decided in the current meta, let's be frank. Cyclops should be doing better than they are, and for them, that last round, they'll look back at that and say, oh, we probably threw that one. But now it's time to bounce back. Just, you can't be worrying about those rounds. Just 1 round in best of 3. You've got Garage you can attack now, and last time they attacked it, it was pretty strong for them. So they just need to try and replicate that, and that, of course, will even out the map to a piece.
And rounds are never simply thrown, right? Rounds are never just, you know, lost by one team. It's always about one team maybe doesn't do the best possible thing they could have, and the other team does. Like, the other team plays well. And that's exactly what's happened so far. Great clutch there from Doctor, and I expect to see a lot more here from Mercenaries. Going back downstairs, this is the only bomb site that they haven't won as of yet, of the 3 that they've tried. last time around, it didn't work out so well for them. Also, the Fuse being played by Blackray. Quite an unusual pick, but quite effective at flushing out players on the bomb site.
Attackers have recovered
Should they get control of Piano and detonate those cluster charges onto the floor.
Yeah, and it's not even clearing players. It can also help clear utility, right? Because we still have Maestro with the Evil Eyes, Melissa with the Banshees, etc. Maybe even some ADSs can be burnt as well from the Jaeger. So I do like this pick. Blackray may choose to play them somewhat randomly as opposed to using utility. What is this? Fatar? Hello? Oh. Look, that's a great name from Addison, but I must say, I'm a little bit disappointed we didn't get to see that C4 angle used.
Oh, I think he didn't realize that his time was limited. Would have been a nice C4 tossed out, but at least, well, his teammate gets in on the action and takes down Blackray. That Fuse charge was successful in pinning the position of Fatar and making him vulnerable to the nade, but at the end of the day, wasn't utilized to its full potential. But Cyclops continue to make progress here with another pick, and now droning out this garage bomb site, ready to take out any players they might be using this vertical game.
They've taken a while actually to clear that mute jammer off the wall. It only got pinged with about 50 seconds left on the board, and that means that Cyclops are cutting this round a little bit tight. Sure, the wall's open now, and 30 seconds probably is an ample amount, especially considering you're at that man advantage, but it only takes a couple of denials of that plant from Mercenaries to hold on, but it's looking increasingly unlikely now.
Plant's going down. Gatorada, is he going to play passive here? Zuzu's getting this down. The denial comes forth, but it's not enough. Too little, too late for Haseeb. Now a 1 versus 4 is not an enviable task, and there you go. Cyclops get themselves back into the game. Gatorada cleaning up the mess. The Japanese are back in action.
2-2 the scoreline, and Cyclops will continue their 100% win rate on the garage attack. That one, arguably a little bit messier, but they made it work with the man advantage, and it wasn't too scary in the end, of course. On that site, if you're the attack, if you get the plant down, unless it's some sort of crazy 1v5, you're basically always going to win just because of how difficult the retake is. And Cyclops knew that. They played it pretty safe in that plant. Just made sure that they got it down. But this is where it starts to get a little bit more interesting, Dev. Lobby press. This is a site that Mercenaries have successfully defended. So it's up to Cyclops now. They're the ones going into this round that are on the back foot. They're the ones that need to switch up how they're going to attack the site and clear some of that utility that we saw them struggle with last time.
It got very, very tight last time as well. It was a 1v1 at the end of the day. Steve clutched it with the Evil Eye from Maestro. I wonder whether Cyclops will make some improvements on last time around. It was just blow for blow for blow. But Mercenaries, in some ways, have almost done really all that we can expect from them here on their defense. You mentioned that Consulate is not really necessarily defensive favor, and even on the previous patch, pre-Wamai Jaeger nerf, I feel like Consulate was already a pretty 50-50 map. And now that the meta has changed, and in theory, things should swing more towards the attackers with some of the gameplay changes we've had. I feel like Cyclops should really be expecting to come out of this half with at least 4 rounds, and anything less would be kind of a failure on their behalf. So in that regard, Mercenaries have already hit par for the course.
Yeah, we often talk about what is that benchmark that you should be reaching at the switch of halves, and I agree. I think Cyclops will be aiming for that 4-2, and Mercenaries, they'll be pretty content. Not only are they even at the moment, but they've actually been playing quite strong. It's important to remember it's not their map pick. This is Cyclops' map pick. Sure, they get the ball rolling here in round number 5, but it is safe to say it hasn't been the fastest of starts from this map. It feels like it's been a little bit slow for them to get into this, and they'll be looking to speed that up here and win a start that they yet to do so far.
Cyclops have well and truly turned their attention to this top floor. The Logic Bomb rings on out, but Mercenaries shouldn't sweat too hard about that. Free info for Cyclops. Can they start pushing on forward? They're going to clear that Goyo shield in just a moment. The drone comes forth as well. This is fantastic work from CAG. The Mercenaries still have a foothold on the top floor. It's really up to Cyclops to dislodge them. They still can't even take out these deployable shields.
Yeah, not quite sure what's going on here. Anderton does still have a nade. Cooks it and will throw it inside of Con. I think the mindset for Mercenaries here needs to be maybe find a pick. That's all we have to do, but that's really unfortunate. It's inevitable that this is going to be cleared. In this meta, this stuff is going to be cleared sooner or later if CAG are awake, which they are. then it's important for Mercer to just try and hold on and find these picks, but they're not finding any dev. They're not trading it out. MI7 could go big here, but there's a lot of weight on his shoulders. He does see him. He flicks him. Okay, I didn't think he saw him because the holo was in. I didn't think he saw him because the holo was in the way, but he did. 1 HP though, and a dream. Fortified, plant going down. He makes his way down yellow. Surely he doesn't win this fight. He doesn't. Gatorada with the nade will shut him down, but as I was trying to get out, and Cyclops are very rude and not letting me, Mercenaries, with that extension, had to try and hold on and just waste time, but they weren't able to do that. They weren't able to find picks, and they weren't able to win the round.
It may have seemed slow and steady, but it was well and truly always in the column for CAG. Mercenaries picked apart on that top floor and picked apart just about everywhere else as well. That ended up being a 1 versus 5 there for poor MI7. What a shot, though. Like, I still can't get over that. It was completely impactless. The only difference that it made is that it's at the end of the round, we didn't see that little flawless round pop up come on, which is a shame, but oh well. CAG back in the game, though. They were at a 2-1 deficit at one point, if you recall, and now they've retaken that lead. Not only in the on the map, but in the series, of course. They only need to win here on Consulate, and then they proceed into the grand final.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Yeah, probably a good time to just remind everyone at home of the format. Of course, these teams are firing it out for the APAC last chance qualifier spot for the 6th Invitational. It's a single elimination best of 3 bracket, so if you lose a match from here on out, sorry to say it, but you're going home empty-handed without that golden ticket to Europe in February. Cyclops, as we mentioned, are the favourites, not only in this matchup, but some might say for the entire APAC region, actually, to try and take this last spot. I'm not sure how you feel, Dev, but I think Cyclops are probably in the box position, some might think, to take that spot. It's been a little bit of a rough second map here, but for the most part, it's been quite strong. And I think they're showing why they are one of the best in the APAC region.
Very much so. But Mercenaries, well, they're not getting psyched out here. Look at this. Augusto spawn peek from Maker, player who's had some notable moments. In particular, that 1 versus 3 on Oregon. But clutches aren't enough. Mercenaries have to dig their feet in here. Console office and meeting is a bomb site that they have not successfully won thus far. They defended it before and lost it out. Actually, no, sorry, they won. My bad. They did win. It was that insane 1v3 from Doctor. But by all rights, that really should have been CAG's round. What can Mercenaries do to position themselves better so they don't have to rely on that clutch?
Yeah, in that last round, Cyclops did a really great job at displacing players, and it's why this site now is so weak, because there's so many angles that you can create, and it makes it basically so as a defender, you can't really sit anywhere impactful safely. We saw the ace used by CAG last time to really help accelerate that over towards bathroom. On this occasion, actually electing not to bring a hard breach at all. So maybe CAG were expecting them to go split, and Mercenaries are throwing off a little bit in that regard. But CAG, as they always do, they've adapted. They're going for just a straight admin take. And in comp play, that's sort of an approach we don't see a whole lot these days. In fact, yellow is normally preferred by teams. So this is a little bit unusual from CAG, but by no means unwinnable, of course.
I love the way that we see Mercenaries setting up all these deployable shields, but of course it means that once those shields are dislodged with explosives, it makes them very vulnerable. CAG, though, find the first pick. Once again, it's Maker who goes down. Nade's also in the pocket, ready to displace anyone in A, but there is a pick right on back again. Black Ray goes down. Tit for tat here, and Mercenaries holding on as best they can. Now the shield destroyed from Doctor. Time is ticking away, but I still can't call a clear winner or a clear favor either direction.
Yeah, well, the game plan here for Cyclops is they've got the player on the bulk with the diffuser. He'll try and jump in, go hard left, destroy the table, and get that plant down in the corner. It's up to Mercenaries to try and deny that. Here we go. Just as I say it, Suzo, he's going to go for it. Where's the plant enough? Fatah does find one, and that does force Suzu maybe to go a little bit deeper here. This is not ideal for CAG, but maybe they can make it work.
But now it's just Gatorada on the rappel. What a good redemption for Mercenaries, but still not unwinnable for Gatorada. As I say that, he walks dead into a crossfire and doesn't last much longer. A great round at the end of it for Mercenaries. A 4 versus 4 plant attempt from CAG that looked like it might have worked out. Had it not been for some great coverage from Mercenaries, fighting back and evening up the half, 3 apiece.
Yeah, and we had a brief discussion about this as the map sort of started, that console meeting is a site that is now basically the worst to defend on console, and may even be, to be brutally honest, one of the very worst of the commonly played sites in the entire map pool right now. And Mercenaries have just absolutely thrown those stats out the window. 100% win rate for them on that site. And that second one was actually really convincing. They forced CAG to go deep, and it just didn't work. They found those picks and traded it out. So
Attackers need to locate
great
and
way
defuse as many
for
bombs
Mercenaries
as they
to
can.
finish off the half. They're above that expectation of the 4-2. It's 3 apiece, and it's anyone's game now. If Mercenaries can just continue to ride this high, I can't believe I'm saying this, but they may well take the map.
Absolutely, and keeping in mind that Clubhouse is also a winnable map according to the statistics. This is looking good for Mercenaries. Now, if we cast our mind back to the November Major, Mercenaries played in the South Asia Mini Major against Union Gaming in that grand final, and Mercenaries picked Consulate as their map pick, one of their map picks in that BO5, and they won Consulate 7-4. Starting on the attack, Mercenaries won 4 out of 6 attacks. If they do that right here, well, we don't even need overtime. We'll be going to map 3.
Maybe. CAG getting aggressive early round though, trying to find spawn picks. So you're not alone in ranked and getting frustrated when players spawn pick you on this map. It even happens in comp. There you go. But no one for Mercenaries will fall victim, instead spawning quite safely on the western side of the map, as maybe they try and formulate something over towards Garage, maybe even try and take some control above. One thing, of course, I was a little bit critical of Mercenaries on in the last map and even earlier in the closed bracket, is that these solo entries can prove costly.
Oh.
And that's just another example of Maker probably not needing to go for that play, getting a touch greedy, just a little bit. And he does fall down, leaving it in a 5-on-4.
Anderson wreaking havoc on the top floor, and loses a lot of HP. He recontests. Hasid thought he ran away, but Anderson never backs down from a fight. And he finds his second nasty shots there. The Cyclops, well, they're not letting up on the aggression. Still aggressive peeks out through windows and lots of map control. Makes this very difficult for Mercenaries to progress.
Fatah has found one back, and looking at the side, it's actually quite clear at the moment. I'm assuming Suzu's playing deep on site rather with those Yurko drones. He is knelt down, so he's actually gaining intel at the moment. I feel like if Mercenaries want to try and go for a plan, they probably need to move now while the rest of the players on CAG are off site. Gator does play aggressive side white. If he does make an ill-advised peek here, Fatah should cut him down, but he's actually looking above, and I don't think anyone's playing this vert dev, so I'm not sure if this is the play for Mercenaries. If Gator drops here, they could be on. Okay, this is where they need to go. Go in towards that side. Doctor, use your ying. Use those Candelas. Get in there and get this plant down.
They're so cautious, and maybe that's the best decision to be when Anderson has this control above. And there's information in the bomb side as well. Suzu's Yokai is not affected by the flashes. Anderson from the vertical angle finds one, gets traded. 2v2 now, MI7 above. Doctor on that bomb site. Has the Yokai been taken out? Suzu, he still has one. Ready and active. Black Ray's on this flank for Yellow as well. This could be the end of it for Mercenaries. And Black Ray barely wins the fights. It's now a 1 versus 2 for Doctor. He knows the Echo is hiding somewhere on his Yokai. He tries to force down this plant. No utility remaining. He baits it out. The Yokai spots him. And he lands the flick somehow. It's a 1-on-1. Is there still info from the Yokai device? There is. Black Rice so low HP, but so is Doctor. It's going to be a 1 versus 1 clutch, and the Mozzie polishes off the final kill. It was blow for blow. It was tight, but Cyclops just barely edge ahead in the 1v1.
If only Mercenaries had a flank drone there on Black Ray over towards the yellow stairs, that could have changed the entire tide of the round, because it did force Doctor into the 1-on-2. And yes, he hit a really nice flick there inside of the cafeteria, I believe, onto Suzu. It just wasn't quite enough. And as we saw, was he able to clean it up? I did like the fact that Mercenaries didn't stall for too long. Sure, Anderton was above and probably could have found 2. But they just had to try and get something going. There's no point just standing outside the breach when you have all that util at your disposal. So props for the effort. Just not quite enough in the end. And it's a common theme, I think, throughout this series of these rounds being quite tight, particularly
Attackers need to
on the
locate
Cyclops
and defuse
defense
as
where they're not
many
getting a
bombs
lot
as
of
they
early
can.
picks, or even when they are getting early picks like they did in that last round. But the Japanese team just edging out, just with that extra experience against stronger teams. They know what to do in those clutch scenarios.
It's only a narrow margin still, narrow lead for Cyclops, and we've seen how quickly it can slip away. Mercenaries have experience attacking this bomb site. They're very good on it. If I just go back and mention again that in the November Major, Mercenaries won 4 out of their 6 attacks against Union Gaming. But I will say, not once was console office selected by Union in that entire half. So this is not necessarily familiar territory for Mercenaries.
Another spawn peak explored there from Anaton, but he falls off, was droned out. Might even reconsider it at the yellow window, but probably best he doesn't. Cyclops are defending the top floor, and it is very challenging to do so, so you want as many members up there as possible. E1D charge goes out, so that means, of course, Lions on the board from Doctor, who 6-picked it in that 6-pick phase, and so far, no picks on the board, but Mercenaries, they're trying to establish some control over towards the yellow, and it looks like that will be the take they commit to.
This will be a big round for Cyclops if they can break away here. 4-3, I mean, that's just going 1 for 1 at a time here, but if they can get a significant lead 5-3, they'll be in such a good position to take the map and hence the series. And we still see Cyclops continuing to play these aggressive roams. It's where their players feel at home, playing loose. But, as you said, that Lion may well be that secret little ingredient for Mercenaries to cut down that aggression and start to box Cyclops.
So far, it's looking like the Cyclops members on site are quite comfortable. No cause of concern just yet. Second E1D is used. Mercenaries aren't really capitalizing on that too much. Maybe they're trying to establish some ground on a rappel or something, but it doesn't look like anyone's inside of the map as of yet, and no one's really being hunted down on the roam. So the use of that utility, arguably a little bit questionable. And you still got players like Blackray, MP7, 1.5 scope, sitting in a fantastic position. There's no way Mercenaries can rappel in console if that's the execute they want to go for.
Gatorada also downstairs, as well as Anaton, who just gets almost flicked upon. Takes out that player, and that still leaves Gatorada with his C4 downstairs. Plant going down. This needs to be denied by Gatorada, but he's taken out. There's no C4. This plant's going to go down. Surely, Batar baits it once again. He doesn't have coverage, and well, the yokai there is stalling out Mercenaries, but they've left enough time that it doesn't matter. Eventually, Cyclops get the kill, but it's a post-plant now. A 2 versus 3 for the South Asians. Still winnable. But Cyclops also have the man advantage into this retake. They're going to have to play it perfectly, though.
And Maker as well does have 2 concussions in that lifeline. You can use that to deny the counter defuse, and that can waste quite a bit of time. He's actually playing below. So if Doctor can waste enough time on the rappel, this might work for Mercenaries, Dev.
Just waiting, biding his time. The concussion, it didn't detonate, but thankfully he dies anyway, and now it's just 1 player left. Suzu has to stick it. Maker finds the angle. I got to admit, Guz, there, I bet I had a bit of a heart attack there for Mercenaries, but they got it done. A wonderful 3 versus 3, got the plant down, and a 2v3 post-plant leaves us back at an even scoreline.
Yeah, I'm as confused as you are. Almost certain that was a concussion lifeline used, and it should have been close enough and detonated on that opponent counter defusing, and should have cancelled the animation unless that's been changed. Who knows? Maybe one to go test in a custom later tonight. But either way, Doctor on that rappel, as you mentioned, played that really, really well. That was a difficult position he found himself in, but he held on for his team, and there was no time left for Cyclops to execute that retake. And that means that, as you mentioned earlier, Dev, this is really just a 1-for-1 trade at the moment. CAG doesn't get the lead. Mercenaries, they aren't trailing behind. And this is actually shaping up to be an incredibly close second map.
In fact, for this entire map, no team has ever been 2 rounds ahead of the opponent. Mercenaries took the lead early on, 2-1, then Cyclops fought back again, got their lead, and now, of course, we've just continued trading rounds ever since. Pattern continues. Well, it could be anyone's round this time around, but well, I think it's likely that this will just go blow for blow all the way into overtime. The question is, how can Cyclops do? What is their depth like in terms of different defensive bomb sites? Because, well, they've won Garage Cafeteria, albeit in a 1 versus 1. They lost console meeting there, and they've been pushed onto yet another alternate bomb site. The Mercenaries, this is one that they're a bit more familiar with and a bit more confident in attacking.
Yeah, and the one thing that stands out to me looking at the round history is, of course, we're 8 rounds down, 9 rounds in, if you would. And we still haven't seen the split site over towards the Visa side of the map. Of course, Colors and Archives. So maybe that's something that Cyclops are hiding up their sleeve. They'll bring that out maybe on the match point, or even the round after this if they are to win this objective. And that will change up the dynamic once again. So far, though, in this round, nothing standing out as too crazy. Anderton playing on the Vigil, as he said earlier. CAG, it's a home away from home on the roam, really, for them, and that's where they love to be. And that's how they're trying to throw Mercenaries off and trying to find these opening picks.
Very loose once again for Cyclops. Can Mercenaries punish? That's the question. The $1 million question. Maker on the peak, and he gets shut down once again. Anderton doing work here on the Vigil. And that Lion Roar completely ineffective. It falls upon deaf ears. Mercenaries to fight with just 4 remaining.
Well, this round's going past really quickly. We're almost halfway past the action phase, now halfway through the action phase. Mercenaries do have decent control inside of admin, but there's still players over towards TV that could cause some issues. Black Brave being one of those does fall down the service stairs. Maybe could get cheeky boy with impacts. I'm not sure if he's running impacts or C4. I know who is running C4 there. It's Gator. Oh! Okay, that's
that
one.
Was nasty.
Almost a second, but it gets fallen there by Anderton, I believe, and they can just fall off. Mercenaries now left in the 2-on-4. Don't really have much control. They can play off here, and this is Cyclops' round to lose.
Well said. Cyclops have everything going for them, and well, off that advantage, they decide to retreat. They play in situations where, or positions where it's just going to forfeit this top floor. It doesn't matter. Like, they could literally let this plant go down and play for the retake. And speaking of the plant, it's not going to go down easily with Suzu's Yokai's on the table.
$30 seconds now left on the board. CAG just needs to hold on here to reclaim the lead here on Consulate. Fatar with the diffuser in hand. He's the key player to watch, but he gets shut down. Black Ray flanks up the service stairs and finds a very easy kill there. And MI7, he'll be the second victim. Cyclops taking round 9.
And the lead once again attained by the Japanese. This is their map pick, and while that hasn't been as convincing as we had expected, this is Cyclops' chance to take us onto map and series point, and of course, propel themselves into that grand final where everyone would expect to see them, except for perhaps some hopeful South Asian fans. But I can't call it just yet, guys. Mercenaries, if the pattern continues, they take this round, even it up once again. And honestly, that's exactly what I see happening here.
Yeah, we're not going to see split, actually. It will again be basement, cafeteria, garage, and I guess that kind of makes sense. You look at the round history. CAG did win this on their first defense. From memory as well, it was quite a confident round. They still had a lot of control. Anderton was top floor, and they had the Echo to gain intel and deny the plan a couple of times as well. So it only really makes sense for them to do return here.
It did end up being that one-on-one, though, where we saw the Ying player almost managed to nail that 1v2, and you said it at the time. You said, oh, if there was one extra flank watch drone there for Mercenaries, that probably would have been a round win back in the 2 versus 2, denying the flank from Black Ray that eventually led to Cyclops winning the round. But we'll see. Mercenaries have also changed tack here. They've come, since that first round, completely abandoned the Ying, taken the line a couple rounds in a row, and now, well, it's once again a switch. We're seeing, let's see, on the Jackal this time around. And, well, I do wonder what Mercenaries' thought process is here. Like, are they just going to go for a full map clear? That's what is indicated by the fact that the breaching charges on the Ash and the Sledge, but you got to get to the building before you can clear the map, and at the moment, Fox has taken a heck of a lot of damage from the spawn peak.
Yeah, I am quite interested to see how this Jackal will be integrated into the playstyle of Mercenaries, and if they will go for a map sweep, I think their spawns and their initial repels indicate that they might go for a top-down take from the admin side, maybe, but there are also a couple of players lurking over towards the exit of Yellow Stairs, so it's a little bit difficult to work out exactly what Mercenaries are planning here. But I do hope that the Jackal can be used effectively, because as I said, the drones on some occasions have been lacking a little bit here for the attack. And of course, just being Jackal, you can find the footprints, scan them, so it's a lot easier in that respect, and gives you that hard red ping as well to play off. And that's what they need, because look how many defenders are roaming Dev. It's actually quite overwhelming, really, and CAG, they're already falling back after a minute, so even they themselves aren't feeling totally convinced that Mercenary is going to try and hunt them down.
It's been a great change here, but Blackray ever present, and he does take down Steve. That's the Jackal. MI7 saw a player for just a brief moment and eventually gets that refrag onto Blackray. But still, Anatson is alive, the player with that disruptor that can dodge the drones, and of course Jackal, the player that can find him despite that, has been eliminated.
If there's one player that Mercenaries really don't want dead, it's the Jackal. But it doesn't matter when you have Fatah on probably the weirdest rappel you will ever see on Consulate holding that rotate. So look, props to him. It worked. He shut down the roamer, and that leaves Gator and Suzu in towards site. These players, though, they should not be underestimated. This is well and truly winnable for CAG. They only really need to find one pick back for the 2-on-3, and then it's winnable. And Suzu is lurking for that. He's rotating back and forth behind that pillar, and there's no pressure vertically here from Mercenaries to try and shut that down.
We really need to see the Sledge start to get to work on that vertical, because if not, Suzu's position should be fairly safe. Nate not addressing him, and will Gators on for the flank as well. This will have to be some serious work from Mercenaries. Despite that numbers advantage, that advantage is closely slipping away. Suzu finds one as well. 2 versus 2. 30 seconds left for Mercenaries, but the shots land. It's all on Gator, but he has some vertical angles, but he's finished off Fatah with some massive entries on the execute. Mercenaries once again equalize the scoreline.
That was a huge round from Fatah. He had it all to do. He shut down the Vigil on that weird rappel. He got the garage breach open with the Salmas, and then he found the final 2 picks. One of those being against the odds with the C4. If he had have just missed that by maybe a second, he probably would have died, and then he hit the vert shot as well. So really well played there from Fatah, proving that the AK-12 really is a strong primary in the hands of someone that can use it properly. Of course, scoreline Dev back to 5-5. And I think overtime's looming. I don't think we can really confidently say that this is going to end in regulation, because as you said, no team has had that big of a lead so far.
Absolutely, the trend continues. No team has found themselves 2 rounds ahead of the other, and this is just so different to what our expectation was going in here, guys. There's no doubt about it. Mercenaries are really just giving it their all at the moment against Cyclops. And in fact, they've already done better than they did on their own map pick, which was, let's be frank, fairly embarrassing. The Cyclops managed to get such a dominant victory. And, well, now, Cyclops, they're on their home turf. It's constantly, it's a map that enables that aggression. And we've seen Cyclops play into that, which is their specialty. But Mercenaries have just been going blow for blow. They've been such a strong team here, and they're certainly vying for that overtime and that 3rd map, of course.
Attacker's objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Console meeting the objective once again. Funnily enough, Mercenaries are actually the only team in this best of 3, or on this map, they've actually won it on the attack, which is pretty crazy to think about. So maybe this is Mercenaries' home turf upstairs on Consulate. We'll have to wait and see, of course, if they can convert it here once again. CAG, so aggressive as always, trying to deny these entries for as long as possible. But that's smart play from Blackray. He gains that intel, he backs off, and he keeps himself alive for later in the round.
You can just see the way Mercenaries are playing. They're so aware of this aggression from Cyclops. Mercenaries are doing their due diligence 100 times over. But of course, that does let the clock slip. This is, of course, a top floor objective, as you said, console meeting. Now, we've seen some C4s be successful. What is this aggression here from APAC? They get spotted by the Yana and still holding on to that shield position. Smokes off one angle, contests the other, and backs on off. Or does he?
He needs to be careful here. It's a good power position to maybe find a pick, but if he dies, it opens up a high part of the map. Does eventually back off. Probably a wise decision again. If you are playing the smoke, you want to be using those canisters later in the round to try and deny the plan or deny the entry in towards the site at the very least. And that's exactly what he will do. So far, pretty good progress for Mercenaries. They've still got a good amount of time to work with. They just need to clear positions deeper down this long corridor. The likes of Anaton still holding that position. Black Ray behind the shield as well. And once they do that, they might be able to get into meeting for that plan.
Gatterite has already used his C4, so he's much less effective than he would be otherwise from outside. Look at the way Mercenaries are cutting off all these positions, though. And there's another repel position. Spots out the Mozzie downstairs and forces him to find another avenue of ingress. Fatar is so close here to making this execute happen. The smoke actually goes down the hatch. An unfortunate miss, but the second one does land. Gatterite goes down, and this is exactly what Mercenaries have been fighting for. The match point is so close they can taste it, but the planter goes down. CAG are doing everything they can. The Warden came in clutch through that smoke, and there was no refrag from Mercs. Still numbers advantage in their favor, and that's furthered now. 4v2 for the South Asians. MI7 to start that plant. But Anderson once again, he steps up. He's the last player left. He doesn't deny the plant. 1v3, 1v2. Only 2 players left. He can deny the plant. But can he? Caught in the crossfire. Mercenaries take match points.
How did he not deny the plan? He shot him 3 times, and he still didn't finish him. How did that planter survive that angle so many times? That is just... Wow, that is just panic siege right there to a T. Crazy. Mercenaries on match point now. Wow, that was a crazy round. Anderson just in the thick of it. He did a great job using those smart glasses to deny the plant on the first occasion, but he had several follow-ups that he just missed. If he had have collected that, he could have backed off. And it would be Cyclops on match point. So, wow, it's a game of milliseconds, of millimeters, and jeez, crazy.
Absolutely no doubt about it. This is a game of such narrow margins, but I think that the fact that Anderson re-peaked that so many times and just barely missed his shot so many times, and the fact that he was just so twitchy, he's psyched out. I mean, let's be honest here. Cyclops going into this game probably thinking, look, we'll give Mercenaries the respect, but we do expect to win this. Cyclops probably expect to win this in a 2-0, especially after Oregon, which was Mercenaries' map pick, being so convincing in Cyclops' favor. Now Cyclops are staring down the barrel of match point against them on their map pick. And that's got to get to you.
Yeah. Mental is such a big part of Siege. These maps can go on for a long period of time, and you're often given large opportunities like now to either reset your mentality and get refreshed for the next round, or sometimes getting your head a little bit during these preparation phases, during the early phases of these action rounds. Sometimes those failed clutches, those rounds that were meant to be, can slip into the mind a little bit and plague you for the rest of the map. So it's really critical that Cyclops just knuckle down here, at least get it to overtime, and then they can just completely forget about this mess of a regulation and try and finish this map and finish this series off 2-0.
Mercenaries of South Asia's best hope of stacking up against competition from outside of, well, South Asia. And, well, they're definitely going blow for blow here. This is massive against Cyclops, one of the best teams in APAC as a whole. And my personal favorite team to take the entire tournament and that last slot for APAC at SI. But there's very well and truly a chance here, guys, that Mercenaries may well steal that from them.
Maybe. Redemption, I guess, for South Asia, as Mercenaries were the team that knocked Union Gaming out of contention, if you want to put it that way, because Union won the first of the South Asian majors back in August. and they needed to win both to head to SI. So they're not only fighting for themselves, as we keep saying, they're fighting for such a massive region, such a massive emerging region over in South Asia. They're one round away from heading this impossible map we framed it as. And then we'll head to Clubhouse if they manage to do it.
Just imagine as well, I don't believe we've ever seen a Bangladeshi or a Pakistani player ever on the global stage for Rainbow Six, and this would be just a massive moment for Mercenaries. Winning the semi-final is step 1, and, well, winning this map is step 0. But CAG, they've managed to slow this down to a turtle's pace. Mercenaries, so much pressure, the most pressure they have ever had in their career is right now. And this has been the slowest round we've ever seen from them.
Yeah, it's the slowest round from both teams. Neither one wanting to give the other the edge. No early picks, no early engagements at all. Everyone is still on 100 HP in this server. And with 40 seconds to go, there's still key positions like above, where fights will ensue. Gatorada, he does find one. That's huge. MI7 take it off the board. No nade, no vert available now from the sledge. And he still has control of public bathroom.
With time ticking away, what is the play? Gatorada has done some good work, but his time has passed. Still Mercenaries, though, fighting from behind. CAG with a 4-player lead to 3 from Mercenaries, but that diffuser is being forced down. The Yokai no doubt going to be present, but it's not denied it. Eventually it does the trick, but time is ticking away. Maker knows he needs to make a play. Fatah goes down, the Echo goes down, but there's no time for Mercenaries. And Cyclops take us all the way to overtime.
That round was by no means convincing for Cyclops at all. That was incredibly close. Mercenaries only a couple of seconds away from getting that plant down and trying their very best to hold on in the post plant, but it just wasn't meant to be. We head now into overtime. And we can't split it. There's no favored side in this overtime, Dev, because both teams won 3 attacks and won 3 defenses in each half. So this is just incredibly, incredibly close. We cannot split them at all at the moment.
Guess what? The pattern continues. Neither team has ever had a 2-round lead on this map. Neither team.
Attackers need to locate and
It's
defuse
so
bomb.
close, you could barely split it like a hair. Mercenaries, though, starting on console office for their first defense. Now, it's been a while since Cyclops played attack, Mercenaries played defense. That was way back in the first half. And console office was won twice by Mercenaries, and they never lost it. This is the only bomb site that they won both times they played it. So this, on paper, is Mercenaries' best chance at getting that match point back.
10 seconds to insertion.
Upstairs. This is very brave for Mercenaries. All the
5 seconds
stats are
left
telling
before
us
insertion.
they should never win this site. But all the stats are telling us they should never win this map. So they are defying the odds here. And to be honest, this map, this objective rather, even the map as well, has been actually very successful for them. They're great on this site. They haven't lost it. They've won their attacks. They've won their defenses. Of course, they're on the defense here in OT, and they'll be leaning into that. But I have no doubt they could snatch this round, even though all of the other regions tell us otherwise.
Almost a cheeky pick from MI7. Just reminding Cyclops that if you play with fire, you better expect to get burned. He sees the player, he lands the shot, Suzu goes down. And that's good night to the hard breach as well for Cyclops. No chance of using it. The stun's also dying with him. MI7 on this drone downstairs, unaddressed. He finds the second kill. And now Mercenaries have every ingredient they need to find themselves a second match point, but not if Cyclops has something to say about it.
He is finally traded out, but I think the damage has really already been done here by Mercenaries and by MI7. Great confidence booster for him for the rest of overtime, especially if Mercenaries carry on his form and close out the round. But Aniton on the sledge uses an aid and finds a really nice pick. And from below, Ayagator finds one as well. It's all up to Hasib and Doctor to try and hold on here.
Attackers
And
have
we're still
located a bomb.
got a minute 30 in this round. Still a long way to go here for the defense.
What a redemption for Cyclops after that 3 versus 5, now to a 3v2. And they do have a strong setup. They have the man count. They forced Mercenaries all the way back. Now it's just a matter of time and a matter of whether Gatorada can get inside and get that plant down safely. Cyclops need to make sure they can regroup. The Doctor is still alive. Hasid still present. No C4, I don't believe. The logic bomb rings out. Doctor and Hasid to try and hold on for a little bit longer. The rappel comes in. And I think the player is about to start planting. It is Gatorada, but he can't plant in the little box. He has to expose himself. He has to move in. But this is so dangerous.
What can they do? What can Mercenaries do to try and find these picks, deny that plant? The setup from Cyclops, it's so strong. With 30 seconds left, I don't see Mercenaries getting back in this round unless they falter. They're just not giving this pick away. They hold on, and they get that plant down.
So perfect now for Cyclops. They managed to get that plant down without a casualty, and now they fall off. They play the percentage game. They play so passive. And they also have the numbers advantage. Just 2 players left for Mercenaries on this retake. Doctor to start defusing. Hasid has to cover him. Can they stick it?
No.
He does a bit of damage, but CAG, clean house. A very safe and smart post plant for the Japanese. Finally merits them a match point.
Safe, smart, also a little bit scary. There was, I believe, only about a second and a half left on that counter defuse. And Mercenaries could have snuck that round with that ninja, but it doesn't pay off. As you mentioned, Cyclops playing that so disciplined. I don't think I have ever seen, never mind Cyclops, an APAC North team in a post plant play that passively all year. That is just so uncharacteristic to play it like that, but it was the way to go. It was the way to play it. They pulled it off, and it worked. They have the lead now. They have defense to fall into, and they can head back downstairs. Mercenaries, if the pressure wasn't high enough to try and close out the map, it's even higher now. They know their backs are well and truly against the wall. If they lose this, they cannot make 6 Invitational 2021.
And on the flip side of that, can I just point out, in this 14-round marathon, Anderson's hit the 20 bomb. 20 kills. 20 and 8. That is just insane. That's just the kind of thing you don't see ever. I mean, that is just... I mean, he's got more kills than any 2 players on his team combined. That is just absolutely insane. On the side of Mercenaries, a lot more well spread out. For Anderson, it's certainly been, well, his playground now on Consulate. But of course, Rainbow Six is a team game, and you win as a team, you lose as a team. And, well, Cyclops, they're on the cusp. 1 round. They may well be qualified for the grand final.
5 seconds.
Only need to win 1 more game. If they win this round, it's just got to win tomorrow. Then you've got that 6 Invitational spot back again. But Mercenaries, well, they're here to continue that trend of no team getting a more than 1 round lead.
This map deserves, I think, around 15. It's been so close. Of course, we're on round 14 now. Cyclops could close it out, but it just wouldn't feel right for it to end here. Mercenaries will feel the same, of course, and South Asian fans will echo that sentiment as well. This is their last hope for representation at the global scale. Black Ray, inside of admin, could play a pivotal role here. We've seen him quite often just lurk around here and gather that intel. He does the same, and as always, he actually backs off there. No one cutting him off, so it's not really a loss here for CAG. All it is free intel.
2 minutes left on the clock. Cyclops continuing to play this loose roam, but they back on off. Not going to leave anything to chance here when there's so much on the line. This round secures you into the grand final and 1 step closer to 6 Invitational, something that Cyclops has never done before. They may have gone to the Raleigh Major last year, but no 6 Invitational ever before.
Minute 30 now. Time starting to leak here for Mercenaries, who are trying to gain some ground. Black Ray and Suzu playing very deep in towards the site, trying to play as safe as possible with that intel gathering, and of course the plant denial with the Yokai drones. We saw that play a key role last time Mercenaries tried to attack this side. could well have an impact here once again. They're primed and ready to try and shut down this plant. But when's that plant coming through, Dev? Because Mercenaries, it's felt like for the last 30 seconds, haven't done a whole lot. Sure, they're establishing some vert, does actually put some damage onto Aniton, but it's not a pick that Mercenaries wanted.
This is why it's so important right now. Ooh, that's a nice nade through the hatch. This is why it's so important now for Mercenaries to get a move on. Suzu is safe and snug all the way back on the other side of the map, which means that he's not going to be able to be fragged out if he's trying to deny that plant in the late round. Mercenaries need to start getting this plant down, need to shoot out those yokais because it's just so unlikely they'll win the round off kills. They need this plant to go down. They start it, but Gatarada, he's on for the flank. He may well find a second node, the trade comes through, but can these yokais be finished off? This is the pivotal thing here for Cyclops. Can Suzu continue to deny? He still has one up. Fatar can find a kill, but he needs to take down the yokai drone. 10 seconds left on the clock. Still the yokai is up. Taken out now. Suzu has to leg it all the way back. This is match point for Cyclops, but Mercenaries are going to get the diffuser down. The C4 finds one, and it's the post plan for the South Asians. Just 2 players to retake. Suzu, when Naked goes down, it's all on the Twitch versus the Echo. My goodness, it has come down so close. The most difficult site in Rainbow Six to retake, but Suzu has to land this 1v1.
Defenders have eyes on the diffuser.
Just waiting for the timer to tick. Can he bait it successfully? He does! Cyclops! Suzu clutches the 1v2! And Cyclops going all the way to the grand final.
Defender mission successful.
Wow. The Japanese fans can have a sigh of relief after that one. It was a hard-fought second map. But Cyclops, they edge out 8-6 off the back of one of the best retakes I have ever seen. Absolutely insane there from Suzu. Aniton as well with a massive map as well. Cyclops truly deserving that victory in the end, but Mercenaries did not hand it to them easily.
That was a huge game from Cyclops, a huge clutch as well at the end. My God, that has been... What a game we've just witnessed. I definitely think after map 1, we had no idea what we were in for. Map 2, look at us, little naive little Guz and Dev going, yeah, Consulate, that's probably going to slide for Cyclops. Man, we were wrong. What a show Mercenaries put up, but you've got to credit the Japanese. They know how to close the game, even when things are slanted against them. Absolutely nuts. That's just about all I can say about it.
Yeah, I am quite speechless. I think I really want to focus in on Mercenaries in this matchup because we painted the picture. The stats as well painted the picture. I don't think we were being too biased in thinking that this was going to be a pretty easy walkover for Cyclops. And sure, you can make the argument that Oregon was. I believe it was a 7-3 in the end. It was. And then Consulate was just going to be GG. Like, we didn't even think we'd have to play the map. It'd just be, yeah, whatever, 7-0. But my God, it was an 8-6 in the end and probably produced some of the best siege I've seen in a while. Sure, it was a little bit messy, but it was fun to watch. Mercenaries put up a really valiant effort for themselves and for the region as a whole, and I think they can be proud with that heading into next year.
Absolutely. I think if you can go 8-6 against one of the best teams in APAC North, arguably 3rd, 4th best team, as they have placed time and time again, and I guess we'll find out tomorrow really whether they are 3rd or 4th in APAC. Mercenaries have so much to be proud of right now. I mean, going 8-6 on Cyclops' map pick is massive credit to them. But of course, it is Cyclops who stand tall, the victors of that game. It wasn't as easy as perhaps they had hoped, but they get the job done. Aniton dropping the 20 bomb, Suzu with the clutch. Man, this was just a highlight reel, a walking highlight reel. And I don't know. We had to split it, these teams at the end of the day, and Cyclops just barely edged out on top on that too.
Yeah, that feels bad for Mercenaries, but Cyclops, they'll be happy. They can finally just take a breath. Yeah. They can sit back, watch this next game, and get ready for tomorrow night.
That's it, because tomorrow Cyclops will be playing the winner of the next match that's happening right now. It is Guts Gaming versus Xavier for that 2nd spot in the grand final of the APAC 6 Invitational Closed Qualifiers. We'll see you in a few minutes to see which team joins Cyclops in the grand final tomorrow.
When it's too dark for you to see, you'll be close to me. I'll give you an opportunity, a sense of liberty, liberty. Say my name in the dark. Now you're in, haven't you heard? Meet my friends, we're all here. You don't need to feel like dancing, you better keep on dancing. We'll be here for one more song. You don't need to feel like singing, but you better keep on singing. We'll be your friends if you sing our song. You wanna be blinded by the light, a creature of the night. You wanted a different kind of game, but the rules are still the same, still the same. Say my name in the dark. There's no out, haven't you heard? You met my friends, we're still here. You don't need to feel like dancing, you better keep on dancing. We'll be here for one more song. You don't need to feel like singing, but you better keep on singing. We'll be your friends if you sing our song. When you're facing your darkest hour, we'll be right here by your side. You know all your friends are here, we're watching. As you lose your grip, we're here watching you. You don't need to feel like dancing, you better keep on dancing. We'll be here for one more time. You don't need to feel like singing, but you better keep on singing. We'll be your friends if you sing our song. All your friends are here and we're watching. As you lose your grip, we're here watching. All your friends are here and we're watching. As you lose your grip, we're here watching. Cover me in colors I can only see with you. I'd be better with another, but I always pick you. I try my best to fight it, can't deny it. Touches diamonds, and you're probably the reason that I'm so messed up too. I can't stop it, it's ugly but honest. Got me tripping for the way you say my name, say my name, say my name. Could count the ways you drive me so insane, but when you call I still fall back into your game. Play the game, play the game. Wrong can still be right. People wanna tell me all the time that someday my prince will come, but if this ain't love, then I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. Hands are in my denim, but your heart's not with them. Tearing up the pieces missing. And I try to know better, to know it's worse. I swear I'm cursed, cause I know you're bad for me, but it makes no difference. No, no, I can't stop it, it's ugly, but honest. Got me tripping for the way you say my name, say my name, say my name. Wrong can still be right. People wanna tell me all the time that someday my prince will come, but if this ain't love, then I don't want it. Love, baby. I'd be better with another, but I always pick you. Oh, and I count the ways you drive me so insane, but when you call, I still fall back into your game. No, no, wrong can still be right. People wanna tell me all the time that someday my prince will come, but if this ain't love, then I don't want it. I don't want it. So now you're here again, knocking at my door. A little too late for, I'm sorry for. The lights went out cause you kept cutting the cord, and I started to fade into your gray. See, I finally opened up my eyes, and I saw me coming back to life. That I'd be better without you inside. It's time to be someone I wanna recognize. The future starts right now. I made a reservation.
Welcome back. We've had a moment to breathe after that crazy game that we just saw in our first semi-final. Cyclops took it home in the 2-0, but it wasn't quite as close as we expected. Mercenaries did South Asia proud, I think, guys.
Wow. Honestly, one of the best series I've watched and casted for quite some time. Sure, it was a 2-0 for Cyclops, but South Asia, huge underdogs globally. Never mind just against Cyclops, put up such a valiant effort there on Consulate. But unfortunately, they are knocked out of the bracket, and sadly, we won't see any South Asian teams at SI21.
Yep, they are eliminated, but the Japanese have earned themselves a spot in the grand final. Who are they going to face, though? That's what we're about to find out. It is our second semi-final, and of course, it's either going to be Guts or Xavier to face Cyclops for that 6 invitational spot tomorrow. Now, Guts and Xavier, both teams who played in APAC North League, both teams who have had pretty strong finishes, but it's still difficult to call at this point, I think. Now, what do we really need to know about this match? Are we expecting it to be closer or more one-sided than the one we just watched?
Yeah, if we think about the last series, we frame that one as probably being quite one-sided in favor of Cyclops on that occasion, but you look at the results for these teams this year, and this one's looking a lot closer. You could probably make the argument, and we'll talk about this a little bit more throughout the night, that Xavier should take this series, but this is Siege, Dev, and I mean, if that last map is anything to go off, who the hell knows what's going to happen here. Maybe Guts will come out strong and claim this one.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Xavier has been, overall in APAC North, the more successful team, and they actually managed to come third in the November Major. Let's have a look at how these teams have progressed, how they actually got here, because Xavier, through the bracket, they actually found themselves quite a challenging quarterfinal against Crest. Now, you're probably thinking, I'm sorry, but who is Crest? Have I been living under a rock? No, I don't blame you if you don't know who Crest is. They're a Japanese nationals team that played through some qualifiers and hasn't really made a splash, even in the local Japanese scene, and yet they took a map off of Xavier. Now, eventually the tie did come into the semis and come out victorious, but I think that we would have expected Xavier to be more comfortable in that game.
Yeah, well, we talk about comfort. We can even make the same argument here for Guts. They took on Fav. Sure, Fav are an APAC North team and arguably are a little bit stronger than Crest, but it's not like Guts had an easy run through that first round of this closed qualifier either. So both of these teams definitely have weaknesses. They aren't powerhouses like we thought in that last matchup for Cyclops, for example. So that does shape this one up to be quite close. And of course, if we want to cast our eyes, I guess, even further to the right, the winner of this matchup does take on Cyclops, and the winner of that grand final will head to EU in 2021 for 6 Invitational.
Yeah, a lot on the line here, but of course there's still a lot of work to be done as well for Guts and Xavier. You mentioned that, yeah, they played through those quarterfinals. Both of them actually was quite a challenge to get through. 2-1, 2-1, and I have a feeling we're going to see that trend continue here in the semis. Guts and Xavier are very close. Let's have a look at our first team from Japan. It is Guts Gaming. Now, they've come into APAC North, and, well, they've actually made quite a splash. You might even see some familiar names. JJ, of course, played in the past on Norengo, but while they have seen some strengths, it's not been all sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah, Guts have not had a terrible season. It also hasn't been amazing. They've been a little bit of a middle-of-the-road team in the APAC North scene. If we want to look at some results and just rattle them off, they finished 3rd in Stage 1 of APAC North, 6th in Stage 2 of APAC North, and they also finished 3rd in the JP Championship. So arguably, they're not even very, very strong in their local scene. So Guts, I think we can paint them as a little bit of an underdog heading into this matchup. But that said, I've made a very specific note here. Do not sleep on this team because they will punish you if you're not expecting them to play well.
Absolutely. Guts definitely a team to be feared. And now let's have a look on the other side of things. The Thailand team, Xavier. Honestly, I think in terms of playstyle, probably the most unique team in Rainbow Six globally. These guys have incessant... It's just terrifying. I mean, I don't know what kind of adjectives you can use to describe this team other than just that.
Yeah, I have not casted... I don't think I've casted this team ever, and if I have, it was a long, long time ago. So I am personally so damn keen. I've been tracking these guys through APAC North. It's been an okay season for them. They finished 4th in both Stage 1 and Stage 2. But you're right. It's that trademark aggression that everyone comes to watch this team for. You are going to see some crazy things, chat. Get ready. You're going to see Finker, Lion, Dockerby, nades, wide swinging everything, just not sitting still for longer than a second. That is just trademark Xavier. So brace yourselves for that.
Well, it's exactly it. Xavier are that team that'll do those weird things. You'll be like, why are they bringing Pulse with a shotgun? And then he gets a fork and you're like, oh, that's why they did it. They are masters of unconventional. I like to say that Cyclops thrive in the chaos. Well, Xavier are pure chaos, living and breathing. But, of course, these teams will be playing a best of 3. Let's see what maps we'll be heading to for this one. I don't know. I feel like this could definitely cut either way. I feel like whatever the map veto is, we'll see all 3. But there you have it. The 2 bands on the left-hand side, Villa Coastline, and the 2 picks, Cafe and Theme Park Cafe for Xavier, the latter for Guts. And then Consulate Clubhouse, the second bands, and then Decider will be heading to Oregon. Yeah,
just looking at these picks briefly, the one that catches my eye the most is probably Guts sending us to Theme Park. Sure, they did take down Fav the other night. It was a 7-1, so that was a confident result. But looking a little bit more holistically, they've actually not played this map a whole lot this year. They've played it 3 times and actually banned it 18 times. It's their second most banned map. So maybe they've just been saving it for this occasion. Who knows? But they will still be pretty dangerous here. And I don't think Xavier necessarily probably would have expected them to head here.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a curveball. Guts taking us to Theme Park, not a map you see all the time for one, very commonly banned, and you know, it's actually one of the prominent bans of both of these teams. Xavier hasn't played a whole bunch either, so a bit of a gamble there for Guts, but I quite like it. Now, Cafe picked out for Xavier there. It's a map that we've seen them play quite a lot and being really good at. I'm kind of surprised they didn't pick the Clubhouse though, because to me, like that's their best map, right? But it's also a good one for Guts. And in fact, the only ever time these two teams played each other, it was the very first game of APAC North League. That's literally the only time these teams have ever played each other. Can you believe that? And Guts won it on Clubhouse. Now that's a surprise to me because I think most of the time you would probably favor Xavier in this matchup, but Guts have technically that head-to-head victory. Well, we'll see what happens tonight. Cafe, Theme Park, and then Oregon. Again, I don't really know how to split each map individually, but I just feel like these two teams, it's got to be a 2-1. It's got to be a 3-map series. No two ways about it.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. I think the map veto has probably played out a little bit weirdly. As you mentioned, the last time they played each other would have been, like, how long ago would it have been now? About 4 or 5 months even? Is it even further back than that? So, which was, again, the very first round of Stage 1 APAC North is the last time these two played. It's not a traditional round robin where each team plays one another just because of the format. So it means that that did occur. And sometimes in map vetoes, teams will play target bans, yada, yada, yada. But on this occasion, what do you really have to go off? You have results of teams playing other teams. And that, again, with Xavier on the board, doesn't necessarily translate to a traditional play style. So keen to see how this one plays out, but I am expecting 3 maps.
Absolutely. It is going to be a monster of a series between Guts and Xavier. Guts from Japan. Will they join their national brothers in Cyclops in the grand final, or will we see a clash of nations if Xavier can get through it? Let's have a look. It's map number 1, Cafe.
Alrighty, let's jump into the bans. Xavier on the attack, Guts on the defense. Guts, of course, left with that first attacking ban and a Nomad off the board. Dev, probably a wise decision against Xavier. They like to run around and be a little bit crazy. So anything you can do to try and, well, actually, that's actually going to enable it. So maybe they're trying to bait Xavier into that aggression, I should say. That's how I was trying to frame that. Second attacking ban, see what it is. Ying. It's from Xavier as well. I would have thought that maybe Xavier would bring Ying to the board, but you just don't know what to expect in some of these APAC ban phases. So I'm just going to go with the flow.
No, this is weird as, honestly, that Nomad ban from Guts, I mean, like, yeah, they have banned it in the past occasionally, but you look at Xavier, Nomad is their most banned operator. More than a third of their games that they've played this year, they've banned out Nomad. So that's a really strange one from my perspective. The Wamai is not an uncommon ban, though, for Xavier. That is their go-to. So, well, with the Jaeger nerf, it's definitely going to be a throwable heaven here on the attack side.
Yeah, maybe that's why I guess Xavier elected to ban the Ying off the board. If they were planning on taking Wamai down, it kind of makes sense, I guess, in that regard. Valkyrie, to round things off, a little bit of information gathering taken down. And yeah, APAC ban phase, there you have it, folks. I don't think any of those 4 bans are very typical on Cafe. I guess maybe the Nomad, but yeah, strange sights. I'm keen to see how it plays out.
Xavier on the attack, and I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into some of these op picks. Let me have a look. Last time that these guys played Cafe, well, they haven't played against each other. Guts actually, Nomad Valkyrie is the same thing that they banned against Fav when they played on this map. So, yeah, a bit of a strange one for me. Like, I feel like Guts should have just let the Nomad through and just forced Xavier to ban it, because it's like 90% chance Xavier are probably going to ban it anyway, right? But nonetheless, I mean, this is where we end up. No Ying, of course, means that aggression. I guess actually, perhaps the Ying ban is just to enable that Wamai ban a little bit. Because imagine you've got Wamai ban, you've got the Jaeger nerf, and then Ying's just sitting there with like all of her projectiles. I mean, that would just be terrifying.
Yes, and Xavier, they are terrifying at the best of times. They're starting on the attack, and it's up to Guts to try and rein in that aggression and prevent themselves from being overwhelmed in these rounds. I think on surface value, the operator picks from Xavier here aren't too scary. No Finker, no Lion, no Dockerby, as I thought we might see. So Xavier just keeping that one up the sleeve for later. I have no doubt we'll see it eventually. Just easing Guts into this map and not wanting to scare them too soon.
That's it. It's always when things are looking dire that Xavier's like, you know what, guys? I have a strat. Let's just bring Finker and kill everyone. And Onigiri is like, say no more. Or Napier sometimes jumps on it as well. But for Guts here, we talked about the operator veto phase and how a lot of kind of unusual ops were banned. Well, you know what that leaves on the table? The likes of your Mira, your Echo, even your Malusi, like these operators that often don't get a lot of the limelight. I actually love this mirror window downstairs as well. It's going to really enable Guts to hold on to control downstairs for a really long time, basically nullifying any attempted push from the from the attacking side rather through mining as well.
Is that a mirror you're going to add to the rank strat book, Dev?
That's an old mirror. I've known about that one for years.
Ah, so play it cool.
It's been in the rank strat book for a long time, brother. One thing I will say though, if you're familiar with watching Xavier throughout like APAC North League or what have you, you might be like, who's Sapper? That playing that ace? Like, never seen him before. It's just Scatman, same player, changed the name. So Sapper, Scatman, bubbity boobity bob, bob, Sapper.
Didn't update your spreadsheet, Dev. A little bit disappointing, but I'll let that one slide.
Right now, mate. Right now.
Well, while you do that, I'll explain the round. It looks like Xavier, decent control, top red. DCH. Side of shop on the Ash. 3 breaching charges, of course, now. 3 breaching rounds. Can use that to clear some of this utility. And lots of utility there is indeed to clear.
Oh, yes. Onigiri, he loves the skeleton key. What is that?
Oh, good night.
Oh my god, he gets traded, but that is what we have come to expect from Super Onigiri. He loves that skeleton key. He says, this isn't utility, this is mutilation. That's what he gets to work with that shotgun. But it's a trade though, 4v4. Lily still has this control downstairs, a C4 through the floor. It actually misses, unfortunately. And so Napier will survive.
And it seems like that mirror below hasn't really facilitated a whole lot of vert play here from the defense. Guts maybe not playing into that as much as they would have liked, and it has given Xavier free reign of sight. They're deep, they're going for the plant. Can Guts deny?
Trying desperately to deny that plant, but DCH pushes on forth, finds 2 kills. That plant, though, not secured. Sapper on the back line, trying to find a safe position. But this retake may well be on. The revivers come through, or rather, Napier stood up, withstood his death, but immediately it's thrown back in his face. DCH, the last man standing for the Thai team. He's had a massive round thus far, but he's got to step it up again in the post-plant. Seconds dwindling away. Lily and Light need to use this advantage that they have with 2 players working together. The pre-fire comes through. Another kill. No, it is the flick from Lily to secure that. DCH goes down. And Guts Gaming managed to pull that across. Man, what is that weird bug where you switch to the guy who's defusing and he like does the full, you know, like in a horror film where there's like the little
it's scary,
girl,
dude.
and she does the like the full 360-degree head rotation. That's what that is.
You know, it'd be really scary. Imagine from the teammate's point of view, the head just like turns around. Wow.
Oh my god.
Well, that would be scary for the defense. But I don't think that round as a whole was too scary. I think the only real red flag for me was the fact that Onigiri was able to push so deep there, get that kill over towards Pixel, but Xavier weren't able to convert it in the end. It got a little bit messy there, but Guts hold on. Good first round from them. Gonna head back down, or not head back down, head downstairs for the first time. Kitchen. How aggressive are these teams going to get? Will they extend? Where will they extend? That's the key question, of course, with Jaeger on Y. Extending in towards Bakery now is very, very dangerous, if not impossible against a good team that can clear util.
That's it, you've got the Warden. Really great for sitting in those tight spots. Obviously not safe from grenades. The glass is... I mean, that's coming in a future update, right?
Bomb
But
located by attackers.
you're going to dodge flashes, so that's going to help a little bit. In fact, there are actually no flashes, so it's really just the smokes from Sapper that you're going to be able to look through. Hopefully that'll help out Lily, but of course with the 1.5 times on the MPX, it's a good gun in its own right. I love this extension though in Garage.
I just want to mention, actually, it's interesting that Lily on the Warden is electing to bring a C4 or a Nitro Cell over a deployable shield, right? We've seen Warden played a little bit tonight, and I'm fairly confident on every occasion we've actually seen the deployable shield used. So just something interesting to note there. Sure, you've got the MPX for 1.5. And maybe Lily, instead of, trying to hold a key location like VIP, for example, or even that bakery extension, might just play below, try and hold sight, get a C4 through the floor.
Looks like Xavier as a whole decided to map clear from the top down. A drone coming on through. Red Sun's job is to find any cheeky little roamers and call out those positions to his team. And indeed, that is one kill. Very nice cutoff. The patience demonstrated by Onigiri, just holding that angle for such a long time. Almost finds a second, but Light is allowed to escape.
Yeah, very peculiar rotate as well. It's the floor of the freezer wall is blown as well as the rotate, but you have to vault it, so it's incredibly awkward for an attacker to get through. And in fact, we almost saw that defender heading back to site get caught off guard by that and almost lose their life, but able to survive. Xavier will have to combat that later in the round if they decide to go for a push on that side of the map. So far, it's a 2-2 split from Xavier. 2 bakery, 2 over towards garage. Maybe they're just trying to find an opening on one and exploit that, but so far, Guts are sitting pretty tight and look pretty confident.
Here is holding on for a very long time. Aggressive in bakery. Red Sun's holding him. He starts to push on backwards. A nade to come through as well. What was the idea with that nade? Was that a miss, or is it actually intending to bank off that wall in that way? Second nade to come through. Maybe hopefully finish the job, but you're on for the big punishes. There is a refrag to come through. Sapper gets that one back. And Xavier regain that numbers advantage.
Able to open that prep wall. That's a nice line of sight and prevents Light from playing inside of that position. He backs off towards the double window, which of course is still quite strong, but is vulnerable to locations above. Or Napier with the nade. It gets caught by an ADS as Lily off screen finds Onigiri. Leaves it in a 3-on-3, but with only 30 seconds left, Xavier need to get something going here, and Guts still in very powerful positions to try and deny that entry.
Beautiful 6 invitational skin here for the attachment and the weapon. Light has the perfect position to hold on in prep, but no one's pushing him. Surely he's wondering, where are these players coming from? Where is the point of ingress? DCH takes him down, and Lily as well to fall. Sapper trying to force this diffuser down, but it's all on JJ, the most experienced player on Guts, but he can't deny the plant. This will have to be a retake. 1 versus 2, but Sapper doesn't let him get away with anything. And Xavier, a very late execute, but one tick to perfection.
Yeah, I really thought that with Light in that position inside of prep would have had a massive impact on that round and denied the entry, but I think he just got a little bit caught off guard, a little bit antsy in that position, trying to find a pick where maybe it wasn't there, and does get caught off guard, or did get caught off guard, and that opened up the site for the attack. And Xavier, they weren't going to let that chance slip away, and they convert the round. Guts now, reading room and fireplace, so they are just rotating through these sites at the moment, trying to get these rounds on the board, not doubling up on anything just yet.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Xavier has shown that they can kind of... I want to just remark back to that moment with Light, right? When he was taken down in prep. As you said, he got a bit antsy, but could you really blame him? Like, with 15 seconds ticking away, 10 seconds left on the table, if you're holding that position, you're thinking, well, if they're not pushing now, they're probably not going to push through here, so I need to, like, make a play and get aggressive to, like, flank them if they're going to push from elsewhere. But that's the thing, going up against Xavier, sometimes they can be incredibly hard to read. They're perfectly happy to go for a 3 versus 3 execute with 10 seconds left. When there's 15 seconds on the clock, they're happy to wait for an extra 5 seconds and wait for you to make that first move. And that unpredictability and the difficulty to read Xavier is something that definitely works in their favor.
First peek at the reading defense for Guts. Looking pretty common with the extension above inside of Cocktail, and of course that's to retain control above the site and waste the time and utility of the attackers as they attempt to clear that and gain control for themselves. We did see Yura there, over towards Pillars, maybe trying to find a spawn peak, but thinks better of it, backs off, and instead will roam over towards mining. Light again. in a very powerful position over at that window. Could have found a pick, but DCH heads to the roof, and nothing crazy from Xavier. They're looking like they'll go for a map sweep, drop that red hatch, and try and clear the defense that's been set in front of them.
I think that most people would say Xavier is the favored team here. And like we were saying, you look in the head-to-head history, that's not really the case. You know, Guts has won the only game these two teams ever played against each other, but Xavier has just been so consistent, right? I mean, they are the main team that is given a consistent fight to Giants, the best team in APAC at the moment. And, well, Xavier have also shown that they have what it takes to contend with not only Giants, but the other top contenders. Managed to take down Cyclops already in the November Major third place match. They may well do the same tomorrow should they win this game, but Guts are no team to be trifled with.
Oh, Napier. Don't do it to him. Oh, he did. That's JJ taking it down. Lucy inside of Cocktail off the board, and that's ground, that's control that's being forfeited by this defense. Meanwhile, as well, decent control inside of Train, and even that red hole for Xavier. They may even just try and hit Dining here. That could well work out. Of course, there's not really much Vert watching that. Sure, you did have the pre-placed Vert there, but no one's playing that position inside of Freezer anyway. So this could pay off for Xavier, especially off the back of that next pick.
Such a significant numbers advantage now, a breach onto the objective. It's going to be so difficult for Guts to hold on. Crazy Papillon, the only player that can realistically hold that. Light potentially to help out. Billy upstairs doesn't have a lot of prospects, and the core player on site has been taken down. Lily is the last player standing now. This will have to be an ace to clutch it out. One already taken. Here's that diffuser being planted. There's even a player up top. DCH covering all of Xavier's bases. And that, Guz, was a very convincing round on the attack for Xavier.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Quite clean. Not really too much to comment. I would say that Guts failed really to hold on to Cocktail as long as they would have liked, didn't find the trades they would have liked. And by that stage, it just compounded into that round loss. But Cocktail will see a return. Guts elected to go there on the very first defense. They won it. They'll be looking to back that form up to even out this series. It is important to remember, actually, that the last time Guts defended this site and won, it was off the back of a disable. It was a retake. So it was quite close. If Xavier can polish up that attack a little bit, maybe set up the positions a bit nicer for the post plant, they could well snatch this round away. And that Amaru dev could well very much spice this round up.
Bombs from being defused by attackers.
You love to see it, don't you? Whenever Napier is like to the boys, hey guys, I've got an idea. I'm going to do this. It is... Napier is just one of those players. You can never read him. And he's got some cheeky little tricks up his sleeves. Xavier is a team. And that Amaru could go all kinds of directions. I think the thing we're most likely to see is that Cocktail balcony window yeets in as a magical Amaru, affectionately nicknamed Yeet Girl. But if you have, you know, maybe people dropping Skylight, maybe people pushing from like cigar shop, and then Napier just yeets on in through that cigar, or rather the Cocktail balcony window, Guts may they find themselves in a bit of a pickle.
Yeah, and it's not even the fact that they just picked the Amaru. It's important to remember it was a 6 pick, so if Napier isn't spotted on cams or his device isn't heard early in the round, there's a fair chance that Guts have really no idea this is actually coming. Important to remember as well that the G8, Amaru's primary weapon, can be played by an IQ, so it's not even like the gun sound necessarily can give away the player's intentions or the operator's selection. So it's important that Guts just stay on their toes here and don't get caught off guard.
Does look like the play is just leave Napier over near the Cocktail balcony window and set up the rest of the push, and then eventually have him push on through and be that counterpoint of pressure. He sees the Meister, actually. This could even be a free kill on the observation tool right now. Napier is so tempted to go for this. You can just feel it. JJ is just watching. He's going to do it.
Oh, no.
He's going to do it. Napier, just do it. Get someone on the camera. Just take the chance. Take the risk. You can do it. Xavier's gonna do this. I 100% know Xavier's gonna make this work. He loses the drone. And the time may well have passed.
That was the most anticlimactic thing to ever happen. All night.
I'm so disappointed.
And it wasn't like there was even a build up. It was just us staring at a window.
Disappointment is immeasurable and my day has been ruined. But Napew's ready to ruin someone else's day. He finally does it. And he is shut down. See you later, mate. Have a nice day. 4 versus 2 now. And, well, it's well and truly over for Xavier. They shot their shot, but, hey, maybe there's a shot at redemption here. 4v2 is now a 2v2. Onigiri knows how to step it up when it matters.
They don't have diffuser, but they still have a minute to work with here, so there's not a massive rush for Xavier to play this out. Maybe they can find some intel. Onigiri hears that call and will drone down White. But it's a strong cross here from Guts. I don't know if they know the diffuser is down. I assume they do. The positions would suggest as much. But they are pinged now. Papillon goes for a play. Down White. Catches a player off guard. That's Onigiri taken down, but he's left now in the one-on-one. 35 seconds left.
It's a game of cat and mouse, but Red Sun, all the information is on him. We saw those red pings. That means there's an Evil Eye nearby. The Evil Eye probably would have had a sound cue that plant was going down, so Crazy knows to push up. Now it's a retake scenario. He can use these gases to try and lock out those positions, but Red Sun says, alright, I'm a swing ya, and he clutches that 1 versus 2 for Xavier. Yet another attack round on their column.
Great round there from Xavier. Dev Marta wrote you off, but I had full faith. I just knew that was going to be a win once the Amari got in there. It was enough of a distraction. But in all seriousness, Xavier, they win the site. The only site that Guts have actually successfully defended here on Cafe. So that's quite a big one in the context of this matchup. Forces Guts back downstairs, and as I just mentioned, that's a site that they are yet to win. So the pressure is mounting now on the Japanese squad.
Yeah, Cafe is a map where Xavier, well, they feel at home. This is, of course, their map pick as well. And it was where their slot here in the semis was determined. Yesterday, they beat Crest 7-5. That was a very close game, though. And for the most part, Xavier's actually performed very, very well on this map. A lot of their losses have actually come to Giants, too. I mean, can you really blame a team for losing to Giants? Probably. I think it's safe to say Giants are the best team in APAC. But if you look at some of the victories that Xavier has copped, they've beaten Fav, who confirm, strong APAC North teams, even a 7-1 over Electrify. So there's definitely a lot of reason to have faith in Xavier here, and especially being so strong on their attacking side, it just gives you a lot of hope here on Cafe, which is about 50-50, if not somewhat slanting towards the defensive favor.
Of course, the one thing that's sticking out that we haven't quite mentioned yet is Napier. Thanks to the Obs for showing their position. That's scary. LMG in hand. I think does Napier run it with the suppressor? I'm assuming he probably does. Can cause some chaos. Even without the suppressor, it can cause some chaos.
Welcome,
oh, that could have been a wallbang. That was actually really quite close there from Napier. Doesn't find the pick though. That player will survive yet another day.
Thankfully for defense, Yura holding on to Bakery. Just didn't work out so well for Guts last time around. Yura, well, he certainly had a timer on his life. Been droned out. They know he is there again. Napier may well have the nades to make this work. Light's also there to support though. 2 players from Guts against 1 player from Xavier. Oh, I'm not very good at maths, but I can do some basics.
Minute 45 left in the round. Not a whole lot of progress here from the attack on this position. You are sitting quite comfortably. Those ADS devices yet to be burnt. Utility also yet to be cleared. And he is wrecking a little bit of havoc here. Yet to find a pick, but is making these attackers really second guess their approach here. And if Euro manages to find just another fault here in this attack, he might be able to get a pick. I mean, look at them, Devs. They're just stacked out the front door, just waiting for Euro to wide peek him, but he's not actually doing that. Selma goes
Oh,
on the
no!
wall, tries to bait Europe, but he actually manages to find the pick, make it 2. Huge from Europe. Can he make it 3? The answer is no, but DCH will be taken down. Sapper unable to retrade that pick.
And eventually, Light gets that pick right on back again, secures it with the gas. Red Sun knows that pressure's on for him to make a play, but he also knows that the jig is up, and there's a player all the way back in VIP with a long angle against him. Strong positions for the Japanese now. All they have to do is hold on and wait.
"40 seconds now. The timer keeps ticking down. Xavier trying to salvage something here. Red Sun and Sapper. They have drones they can work with here, and they might be able to get some intel in towards the site. How clear is it? The answer, not very clear. Light holding the prep door. Lily with an even deeper angle over towards the main door, and this is very much looking like a guts round. It's going to take some sort of minor miracle for Xavier to bring this one back.
And Light may well dust it off with the shotgun. I will say that is one of the smexiest skin loadouts I have seen in a very long time. SI21 Battle Pass, guys. Road to 6 Invitational. Get on it. The final 2 tiers are that attachment skin, Universal, and that gun skin, Universal. Unfortunately, you can't get the champion charm in the Battle Pass, despite my best efforts. So you guys are going to have to earn that yourself. Yeah. Well, it's quite a challenge sometimes.
Yeah.
Always hold out hope.
It can be.
Always hold out hope, guys.
Yeah, probably just have to stop duo queuing with you at 3 AM. That would probably be a smart start.
Probably better for both of us, honestly.
Yeah. Ah, well. Look, ranked can be pretty stressful, and I must say that this map has been pretty stressful so far for both of these teams. It's been a back and forth. I think it's a really key round for Guts to win there. They won a fight that they previously were unable to win. They stopped Xavier from extending that lead even further and applying additional pressure, and it's a nice one to just get on the board. It means they can head back to Bar, which they have at least successfully defended once. And very real chance that they can even out this map and keep things close.
And at the end of the day, all it took last round was just for Euro to kind of play patient and then punish the I guess, oversight from Xavier that was not expecting that player in Bakery to still be in Bakery after all that time. And it netted Euro a double kill, and then of course Guts just managed to keep trading on out from there and played into their man advantage. But of course, Bob Cocktail has split 50-50 thus far. I will say though, Guts are going back to the strategy they did on their first defense, which is to bring that mirror. And I think this could work out. I think it's the play, and last time it worked out for them.
And mirror down below. Crazy Papillon. Didn't have as much of an impact last time as I would have liked. I want to see them try and play off this vert a little bit more. Maybe try and find a pick, or at least feed enough information for the rest of the team to play off. Because, I mean, even last time, right, we saw on Agiri, literally just rush pixel, no one contested, and you got a free kill. So hopefully that does have a little bit more of an impact. Looks like Guts left the red wall soft. That is quite strange.
That is quite strange.
Maybe I guess they have wanted to maybe for this mirror below, right? They probably need to, I think.
Yep, that could well be the case. Only got 10 Rios. Ooh, almost a wallbang there. I think maybe the reinforcement though was protecting him. This goes to show that Xavier is so aware of this presence downstairs, right? And Onigiri is looking to hunt.
Good opening pick there from Euro. Halfway point of the round elapsed. Napier looking to try and clear Pixel. Euro, of course, did get that first pick, hunting for more, but probably would be wise for him now to just back off a little bit, maybe play in bathroom and force the attackers to have the initiative, or to create that initiative and go for these moves. Still a very strong roam below as well, Dev, that Guts are committing to.
It'll be difficult to flush out those positions. Oh, Sapper's just going to go for it. Over a minute left, but he's punished. Light is well and truly covering his teammate. Can't get away with that. Not today, good sir. And this lead is now extended. Yura decides to back on out. smart move from him. He's got that man advantage. He knows he doesn't need to continue to fight for this ground. Force Xavier to make the next move as Guts are in the advantage.
Onigiri could be picked up here, but it's probably for nothing. Let's be honest, it's a 2-on-5. Diffuser out of hand, make that a 1-on-5. I was going to say not on 5, but Onigiri does find at least one. Gonna hunt for a couple more. Practice his flicks. How many more do you reckon? I reckon, I'm going to say one. Maybe.
15 seconds remaining.
Oh no, there's a player on ground. Oh, you're dead.
Oh,
Okay, that kind of scared me a little bit. Lily from below finds the final pick, and Guts will close it out.
that C4 was actually there for about half the round. When we were spectating Lily really early on, he ran down there and chucked it on the roof. So, very good forethought. Always useful to have a pre-placed C4, and yeah, if you like jump scares, then you would have liked that one.
Ooh, well, 3-3. What do you reckon the pass rate was? I think a 3-3 is probably pretty representative of this map, the way the teams have been playing. I felt like Guts probably could have gone a lot worse, especially when Xavier went on that 3-round streak. So at least for them, it's a good map so far.
100%. And what's more, it's not just that it's a 3-3, but Guts got that momentum back, right? I mean, Xavier clearly showed, hey, we got some really strong attacks. In fact, the 3 rounds that they won, they either planted or killed everyone while planting. So that's essentially a plan anyway, right? Xavier did a really great job in terms of playing the objective, and then Guts really just took that aggression and threw it back in Xavier's face and didn't allow Xavier to even get near planting for the next 2 rounds in a row. So that leaves the momentum with the Japanese, even if we're at an even scoreline.
Yeah, and if I was just throwing out, it's important to remember that this is Xavier's map pick. So we are expecting them to be the strongest side here. Stats would reflect that as well. In fact, I mean, Theme Park is a little bit of a wild card in that sense, but I do think both of the teams' map picks should go their way. Setting up for a 3-mapper, but still a long road to be travelled on. Still a long way in this map, in fact. Could be many more rounds to go. Could be at least another 9 tops. So sit down, relax.
I think if you're Xavier, you're probably, I mean, you were expecting to go to Cafe, right? Because you knew that, well, you were expecting either they ban Clubhouse and you go to Cafe, or they ban Cafe and you go to Clubhouse. But in this case, they banned neither, and they preferred to go to Cafe. So I feel like Xavier, this was the map that they were very much expected to go for. But it works both ways as well. Like, Guts knew they weren't going to ban it. They knew they were going to let it through, and they knew it was probably going to get picked. And, all right, I don't think that Yura knew that was probably going to happen. Onigiri, an aggressive peek onto the windows. I will say, after all this, I feel like Xavier, yeah, maybe should be slightly favoured, but I will credit Guts. They're playing incredibly well. And assuming they can come back from this small setback, I think that they'll be positioned quite well still.
Does raise a question, how will they get themselves back into this round with Ash down? That's a strong fragger, and 3 Ash charges off the board as well. Nades though, of course, they can use the clear utility and clear this pixel position, and Light will use 2, in fact, to try and clear pixel. Not sure if they were aware of Onigiri's position. He's lurking inside of the lounge. Surely that concussion has given away his position, but he's still going to go for the gunfight. My word, if he had to hit that, that would have been absolutely insane. But he doesn't. Still posing a threat though, still lurking around, but is finally shut down. A great shot from Light.
The concern here, though, for Guts is the fact that they're running really slim on explosive utility. They did manage to destroy that Vulcan shield, but only the 1 nade left on their side.
A bomb has been
especially
located.
with Ash going down early. If you want to talk explosives, Red Sun's still got a C4, and he's got a lovely hole as well. He could toss one up on through. He's going to do just that. He sees the player, but the player dodges it just in time. Now to contest the angle, he finds the shot. 45 seconds remaining, and well, Guts found themselves with yet another setback.
Sapper as well below with the C4 and Malusi, so this is still quite dangerous for Guts if they try and go for the plant. And there's intel from the defense. It's going to be very, very difficult to get that down safely. Napier as well, retaking Pixel. He can just hold that with a gun. He does. That's a kill, leaving it up to Lily and JJ Smokes to go out. Frags and Shu. It's just Ace now in the 1-on-4.
JJ may be a very well-regarded player, but it's going to take a lot more than just experience to win a 1v4, even with the pistol. He got the kill, but the stat padding at that point, and Xavier lock it in. If there's anything I want to point that to and say, well, that didn't quite work with the execute, it was those smokes came out just after the player, I don't know which player it was, I think Light, just after that player started to run into bar. And if those smokes come out a moment earlier, if that player had waited an extra second, maybe Mira wouldn't have been able to cover it from Pixel. Maybe that would have gone a different direction.
Maybe. I was getting some mad PTSD on that crouch fight at the bar. Do you remember the days when you could just spam crouch?
Oh, yeah.
In fact, I'm so sad that I actually have crouch bound to my spacebar for hold. How disgusting is that? And I still suck.
I can't believe that you still have that. You haven't changed that back. You're a relic of a time
Locate
long
and
gone.
defuse bombs.
Well, 4-3. That's where we stand. Dining will be the second side of choice alongside reading. Again, expecting Xavier to probably do an extension above. I don't think they would try anything else. No real point this early. Getting that experimental. Who knows? It is Xavier. They could do something crazy. But operator selections and, I mean, just their general setup suggesting that they will extend above. Try and shut down that push as much as possible. Keen to see how Guts will deal with it. They've brought quite a bit of utility actually to deal with this. I mean, you've got the 3 breaching rounds, nades, 4 of them. You've also got the lifeline. So I don't think Guts should have too many issues clearing this utility, but Xavier are not going to make it easy. They're already spawn peak.
This is just classic Onigiri, isn't it? He loves the Mozzie. Actually, the first time we're seeing him take a mantle this game, but expect to see a lot more of him. He loves that 1.5 times sight on the Roni and the basically non-existent recoil that gun has. It's just a headshot machine, even in longer range. One of the things that I see as a bit of an anomaly here is the Cavitao on the attacking side. And what's more with that secondary hard breach gadget, which is not something we get to see very often, but JJ has elected to dismiss the ace and just play the Capitao instead. You've still got a little bit of hard breach, but you've also got a stack of util to boot.
For sure. A minute now into the round on a gear. He's still peeking these windows. Needs to be mindful he doesn't give away the pick for free. I think now's the time to start thinking about trying to escape from this position. You've wasted a lot of time. Maybe he's just going to play to the death. That could be a reasonable alternative. He does also have Sapper there, maybe to try and hit the retrade. So it's high risk, high reward here for Xavier. That time,
Surely he
does.
does.
And he actually does get away. So halfway through the round, what have Guts accomplished above? I don't think they're going to be able to sweep the map. There's just
No
nothing they can
way!
do. I mean, look at that. Like, good night. See you later. Guts,
That's
please.
disgusting. It's just disgusting that he's allowed to do that. Fortunately for Guts, they managed to punish Onigiri, but I mean, he's the kind of player, you know, he's always going to get 1 kill doing a cheeky position like that. And it's been a setback here for Guts. They're a very methodical team, but time can be their enemy. They've only just got piano control. The bomb site is reading, for goodness sake. They don't even have an inch of cocktail on their side yet. And still DCH has a very well fortified position. Guts are going to have to deal with.
Urine needs to lurk and find a pick here. He does have Crazy Pappy on alongside. Surely they can find that pick there onto DCH, and they do. So with 35 seconds to go, now they can quickly try and work the site. They might not even have enough time to remodel. They may just need to send it here for the execute. Napier's left basically all alone to defend that site. Does have support, I guess, from Sapper towards Pillar, but this will be tough for Xavier to hold on.
Numbers advantage for Guts, but Sapper is in a prime position to backstab this attack. Yura seems to be aware of the position, but he can't hold everything at once. JJ goes deep, loses his life to Napier. Can the free frag come through? It does. And now it's all on Sapper. He had the backstab position, but can he deny the plant? He manages to trade, but Guts have the players still alive. And they manage to just barely, ever so slightly, win that round.
Whew, that was scary. I really thought Sapa would be able to deny that plant. I mean, the planter was in prime position for the wide swing, and I guess just the intuition, maybe some info, did allow Guts to hold on to that round. So well played by them in the end. It was pretty crazy. And then he had about 15 seconds to finalize that execute, and they did so quite cleanly, traded it out on site. And then, of course, the trade at the very end. Quick peek at the scoreboard. Lily, 10 and 5, not bad. Pretty consistent performance across the board, really, for Xavier, though, which is always nice to see. Can never be too reliant on a singular player, and neither of these teams really are doing that so far.
Yeah, a player that I saw a lot of in Stage 1 really just stood out for Guts was Yura, just in that fragging role, always making such massive impacts. And then the focus for me moved a bit more onto Crazy Papillon, who wouldn't often play like a necessarily fragging role, more of a flex role, but really stepped it up and had some big multi-kills, especially on defense. But this is very much a well-rounded team. Like, JJ, of course, has been a star support player for this roster, and in fact, when Guts had a little bit of a drought in terms of results during Stage 2, it was largely, it could be largely attributed to the fact that they actually subbed out JJ for Shu, who in the end, I guess it didn't work out. Guts started to play really, really poorly when they had Shu on the roster, and they brought JJ back on again. Well, I mean, they've seen to get that success back that they had previously had. Because, of course, Stage 1 was actually really, really good for Guts. They even took down Cyclops, which had never been done before. Still a lot of work to be done if they can make it to the 6th Invitational.
Oh, jeez. And Agiri, they're almost getting timed, but survives. Trying to hold this white stairs position and deny the entry towards Freezer and any line of sight from being created. Guts Gaming aware of that. Look like they'll go for a top-down take. Again, keep in mind, this is a kitchen defense, so Guts, they're a long way away. Wow, what a convoluted sentence from the site. And they need to be careful that they don't make this take too convoluted because, of course, we're already a minute into the round. Can't be wasting too much of that clearing roamers, and roamers there are. Onigiri here to greet them once again. He just likes saying hello to everyone. He's so friendly. Might take their head off, but, you know, that's what you got to do. There you go. Crazy Papillon, see you later. And then he just says goodbye. Very polite, very courteous.
Backs on out, but of course, elsewhere, Lily manages to equalize that man count. Napier tried to roam as well, but was shut down. Onigiri hasn't completely abandoned this as of yet. JJ with the drone spots him. Onigiri, not sure if he realizes he's been droned. Eventually, he will take down that drone. But Lily can surely act off this information. We've got a two-pronged push, Light and Lily together. He's trying to cut him off of that position.
Ooh.
But Light actually may have just missed this player pushing up the stairs aggressively. Light probably just gravely heard a sound cue, but isn't quite sure. Now so worried. The pre-fire comes through. Great game sense, great audio, and the follow-through as well. Onigiri also had been dismantled, so Guts have turned things back into their favor.
Yeah, really nice roam clear. Wow, nice vert as well there from Lily. Minute to work with. DCH, the sole remaining member left to defend this objective. Very big mountain to climb for him in this round. Does have full HP, and it's been a solid map for him so far, but this is a tall order. A lot of vert being established, and he escapes that by running away over towards the whiskey bar. Maybe he could find a couple picks,
Attackers have located a bomb.
but it's hard pressed to
He's
see him
rotating
winning
above. Yeah, I mean, this is very, very scary at the moment for DCH. He's retaking above, which is great because he can use these vertical angles, but he's got no info when that plant's going down. Sees the player, lines it up. And misses the first one, but gets the follow through. Bit of a heart scare moment, but now in a 1 versus 3, JJ can just hold down left click and let out that M249 sing out. Light Lily and JJ to hold on. JJ is just going to do it with the pistol. Surely he's holding on. DCH manages to sneak on through, but JJ will punish. And at the end of the day, Guts have just managed 2 attacks.
Yeah, good work there from Guts. Efficient roam clear. Looked a little bit scary there. Onigiri has been on fire on some of these entries, but was eventually shut down. open up the round. The vert quite strong as well. So good work there from the Japanese squad. Xavier now need to respond on their defense. They'll head back above over towards Bar and Cocktail. It was the first site they decided to defend, and in fact, it's been their only successful defense thus far. So they can lean into that a little bit. They'll 6-pick onto the mirror as well. Keen to see what this setup will be. We've seen the mirror below played quite a bit inside of mining. Probably will see it here once again. I just want to see it have more of an impact. I feel like they've echoed this a couple of times, not just here for Xavier, but Guts as well. Seems like it's not having a massive impact. It probably is to some extent with communication, giving calls. We obviously can't really see that. We're not in the teams, we're not in the squad team speak, so can't hear their comms. But I would like to see them play off that a little bit more and try and slow down the take of rounds, because time and time again, it's felt like it's been taken quite quickly, right? You can't do the pixel hold anymore. It's almost impossible. Teams have been trying it a little bit, but not committing to it fully. And once you force that position, like the attack didn't just walk in there, right? So give that vert, you can play off that and try and get those picks.
No, I totally agree. I mean, it's just so much more difficult to play off of deployable shields these days because of the Jaeger and Wamai changes. Of course, Wamai is actually banned as well. And the mirror, just, I mean, it's just a perfect operator to bring into the table when you have a situation like that. So I'm really keen. I'm a big advocate for mirror on this map as well. I love the way that it has been set up and how it is so frequently set up, which is you put one in what a lot of people call blue, which is just near the top of white stairs, and it looks into the freezer. You open the opposite wall of the freezer, you look all the way into the piano or cigar lounge. Now, second mirror also watching towards new hatch or new balcony as well, I really like. So it's a good setup, and it really does funnel the attackers. But we'll see how Guts deal with it.
JJ drone down Skylight, trying to gain information. Rough meta position there being held by Stapper below the new hatch. Maybe trying to find a cheeky pick, but retreats now. Smart play, falls down. Aggressive extension as well from Onigiri, not looking to forfeit. Cigar Lounge early. Not being pressured just as of yet. I wonder how they're going to deal with this, right? Because they don't have a Havana, they don't have an ace. How are they actually going to clear it? That's the real question here. Mirror drops like 1, make it 2, and does. Maybe they don't even have to worry about the mirrors dev. They can just shoot everyone that's not behind mirrors.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Light's gone pretty deep here. In bum, asked to drop the Skylight right on the mirror. His diffuser is down. About to walk into Crossfire. Completely out of nades. That would be a godsend right now, but Napu still has this mirror to use, as does DCH. Napu can toss the C4, but can he find the target? He cannot. Still a 2 versus 2. Redstone desperately trying to fight Yura, and he fends him off, but it's a 1v1 all of a sudden. Lily versus Redstone. Now Yura can give some info, probably call that he's still inside freezer, but Lily has to get the job done. In fact, Lily can just start to force this plant down. Redstone has to go for it. Jumps over into blue. Just waiting for that diffuser to be secured. He knows where the player has to be. He doesn't have a C4, but he can take this fight across the bars, desperately trying to spray. But Lily has the superior weaponry. Redson is so low on HP. It is Redson who has to move, and shooting through those bars is not going to work with the Vector. He can jump on top of the bar and perhaps shoot over. Redson has peak his advantage. He does just that. And he secures the counter defuse for Xavier, a 1 versus 2 clutch.
Defenders have disabled the bomb diffuser.
Well played there in the end. Wow. Don't think Redstone could have played that much better, as you mentioned. The vault, the peek's advantage all played into his hands, and he does find the critical pick with plenty of time to hit the counter defuse. Big round there from Xavier. Even out that score line. 5 apiece. That said, it's still a little bit scary for them, right? Because you look at the round history, Xavier's only 1 bar. They need to start mounting rounds on other sites. Otherwise, they're at a real risk of actually losing this map. If they lose the next 2 rounds, it's Guts for the taking.
That's it. Bar's going to be locked out now. And especially, I mean, considering that they only won that on such a narrow margin. 1v1 clutch, which was essentially a 1 versus 2 for Redstone. It's just not looking great here for Xavier. Guts' attacks have been relentless. And like you say, Xavier's going to have to win either reading or kitchen, or I mean, even heading over to mining and fireplace is a possibility here, but really scraping the bottom of the barrel in terms of bomb sites once you get to that point, right? So let's see if Xavier can have any more luck on reading than they did last time around.
10 seconds left.
Just looking at the operator selections for both teams, and nothing
5
standing
seconds
out
left
as
before
being
insertion.
too crazy. Keen to see where
Attackers
Red Sun
must
places
locate
those
and
Vulcan
defuse the
shields.
bomb.
Looks like he's already placed one, so I'm assuming that's in towards sight. And the second one likely would be above in Cocktail. Let's have a look. My eyesight is really bad, so we might need to zoom in because I have no idea where it is, and I'm not even sure our obs can find it. Is it in the hallway?
Looking
I
for
don't know.
shields. There's one like under the 90 camera in the second floor.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, there you
Ah,
go,
yeah,
you
it
just
is.
see on the
Okay,
right-hand
sorry.
side.
Yeah, but that's a good one. I like that. That's kind of unique.
Yeah, it gives you a bit more control of mining, right? And the double door going to red stairs, red hallway, and kind of contest all that as well as pillars itself. But overall, it's almost exactly the same operator lineup. The only change is that Onigiri's ditched the Mozzie, but he's still got the 1.5 times sight. He's still got a fantastic gun on Legion with the T5.
Drone work early here from Guts. Trying to find these roamers, and of course it's Xavier. Why wouldn't there be roamers? In fact, there's at least two above. Light, send down a nade.
Oh my god, what is that?
Oh, what? How did he kill him? And wow, great nade as well. So I mean, they cancelled each other out in the end. Quite an interesting engagement. Nonetheless, Sapper here drops down as well. Xavier slowly forfeiting this control above, but DCH, he's still just lingering a little bit here, and Guts will need to be careful that he doesn't catch them off guard.
I just can't get over the fact that Onigiri actually landed that shot. Like, if I was Light, I would be pissed. He was so low on the windowsill. Like, how did Onigiri get that pixel? But, I mean, Onigiri wins those, right? And Light to trade himself out with the nade, I think at least there's some redemption, but I'm sure he's still going to be calling BS on that one.
Yeah, been interesting, but oh well. I think at least he got in with the nade. Otherwise, it would have been more frustrating. Nonetheless, we move on. Minute to go in this round. Above control, is it still in the hands of Xavier? The answer, no. They've rotated back down below. Sapper as well, playing quite aggressive over towards red. They're just watching this vert, waiting for someone to peek it. It's what Guts want to do. The holes, they're ready, they're waiting to find these defenders lurking below, but as Emzo always says, angles, they work both ways. Guts need to be very careful as they approach the site.
Time's ticking away. Use the sledgehammer to destroy that bulletproof camera. Contest vertically, 25 seconds. The timer is ticking away. Guts have to make a move. They're aware of the flank, but there is no execute. And thus, no reason for Xavier to make a move, but Guts, it's very much the opposite. Sapper starts his flank. He can control pillars, but he's shut down. From Euro upstairs, now the late execute. All that DCH needs to do is deny the plan. He finds one. The diffuser starts being planted. It's all on him and Red Sun. Can you recover it? Both players peeking. The trade comes through. They get off the diffuser. And DCH cleans house for the retake and manages the 1v1 to secure match point for Xavier.
Defenders win.
What an absolute mad lad, DCH. Pop off. And it was by no means done, even once he got that second to last kill, because the sledge did get off the plants and almost hit him in the head. That was so close. That last gunfight really could have gone either way. I really thought that Papillon would get off the plant and be able to swing him. I mean, look how close it was. You could see the bullet trails. He just trailed him a little bit and traced around him. So I'm sure Xavier will be breathing a sigh of relief after that one, quite close. But they do now have that match point. And I think as well on top of that, Dev, they've gotten the monkey off the back a little bit, right? Because leading up until that last round, they actually hadn't won any objective outside of Bar Cocktail. Whereas now, at least they can build some confidence heading into Kitchen, despite not winning it yet.
Attackers need to locate
They can change
and
things
defuse
up,
bombs.
they can refine it a little bit, and maybe just edge out Guts.
Bomb located by
I think something to be said as well is even if Guts are kind of getting themselves advantages for the execute. Like if they've got a man advantage as they did last round, if they've got all the positions they need set up, Xavier is whittling away time. And it means that it's just enabling these clutch scenarios. Like we've seen a clutch from Red Sun, a clutch from DCH there, just massive performances from these individuals on Xavier, which is getting it across the line. And it's something that Guts has to be wary of. Even if it looks like the deed may be done, you've got yourself a 4v2, you're starting to get the plant down, it's certainly not all over. Not when Xavier still have at least a player left in the server.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Yeah, and it's interesting heading into these playoffs, and I guess just the esports program in the future, where you're expecting, particularly off the back of the remind Jaeger nerf, that the 20-second meta was gone. And in the traditional sense of the utility, sure it has, but Xavier, they've created a whole new way of just reintroducing the meta to some extent, right? That last execute came with like 5 seconds left, but they did it by roaming and playing aggressive, and causing issues all across the map. It wasn't anything to do with shield or ADS devices, it was just guns and pressure. And I think that's a testament to just how powerful that can actually be.
You're almost harking me back to the mute Mozzie meta that everyone loves and loves to hate as well. The information denial, and I mean, what I like to use the term diversity meta. I think that's the ideal utopia that we want to live in, and I think that we're getting pretty close to it at the moment. There are different strategies that are viable, and we've seen that demonstrated by the way these two teams operate. What is this exchange? Crazy Papillon takes off Onigiri's head. Mate, it's match point. Do you really need to be peeking that? No, you lose your head. See you later.
Well, we say goodbye to Onigiri, but there are still 4 members left here for Xavier, and expect them to get aggressive, try and retake that lost position and find a pick back. Red Sun does initiate that over towards White. Might be an engagement alongside Euro quite quickly here, but it looks like both of them just holding an angle, playing quite passive. Of course, Guts don't want to even out that man count. They want to capitalize upon the advantage that they now have as they get closer and closer towards that site. Of course, it is a kitchen defense, but still a lot of roam clear that needs to be done. Napier on Vigil, this could be a huge engagement. Lights up Euro, but it's not enough to secure the kill.
I think they're opening above him or behind him as well. How do you land that shot, Napier? It's disgusting, and he's still alive, still persisting. So low on HP, but the same can be said for Euro on the other side. Who's next up to the chopping block? Napier caught in the crossfire. The Vert finishes it off. Crazy Papillon gets the job done. But as we've been talking about, guys, look at that clock. 40 seconds left. Guts Gaming might have the 4 versus 3, but they don't have the time that they may well need. And this is going to give a platform to these Xavier players for a clutch.
Red Sun could go for a flank. You're not sure how many drones Guts have set up on the flank, but they need to be careful. Have a look. He's already up White Dev. He could well pull this off.
He's going in. There are 2 players. He sees him, gets off the drone. He finds one, gets another. And my God, this round has turned on its head. And it's all done for Guts. Xavier have taken this round by storm. And the consistency we've seen from the tie is something to behold. That's a good half coming through in the chat. Xavier take map number 1.
Well, that was quite the flank for Xavier to close out that map. Red Sun greets them inside of dining and serves them a meal, that's for sure. Beautiful couple of kills there to win the round. 7-5, the scoreline in the end. They win their opposition's map pick as well on top of that, Dev. So Guts now, the pressure really mounting. And remember, we actually don't have any Japanese representatives locked in for SI. So this is huge, not just for Guts, but for the region and for the Japanese as a whole too.
You know what, we can say that on both sides as well, guys, because of course Xavier hailing from Thailand, we have no Thai representatives at Six Invitational for 2021, and what's more, we've actually never had any Thailand representatives at a global final before. They've consistently performed really well at an APAC level, and Xavier themselves almost qualified for Six Invitational 2020 before narrowly falling to Fnatic in the qualifier grand final. Now Xavier has another shot at that spot, and I don't think they want to let it slip this time, but they got to get past 2 Japanese teams before they can make it there.
Yeah, well, they're off to a pretty decent start. I think they can be quite happy in how that that map played out, it was very aggressive from Xavier on the defense. And I highlighted this a little bit. I think it was like around 10 or 11 towards the back end of that matchup. Xavier are forcing Guts into what at times was like a 10-second, 15-second, even lower execute time. And it wasn't off the back of utility, folks. It was not shields, ADS, none of that. None of the funky stuff where you're sitting there and you're just shooting utility. It was just, let's roam, get in their face, find a couple of picks, play a Vigil, play a Mozzie, make them run around and sit on drones for half a round. And it worked. They bled time so well on the defense. And they didn't even... Guts didn't even set up a flank drone at the end there. They weren't ready for a crazy flank from Red Sun after what was 6 rounds of chaos. So worked out really well for Xavier, and I think they did deserve the win in the end.
Well, it takes a lot of time to call up the exterminator and get him to clear out all the rats from every corner of your cafe. But I mean, the rats won at the end of the day. Xavier had a fantastic game. And that sets them up really well, of course, in this best of 3 series. They've got to win one more map. However, it is Guts' map pick. It is Theme Park, and it is something that we don't know a lot about. Can we have any expectations going into map 2?
I haven't seen Theme Park played in the new meta, so I don't know what to expect. It's Xavier's map pick. Surely they play super aggressive like they do on every other map. That might not be what many people at home are used to on Theme Park. It's the slow map. It's the utility map, right? Don't expect that here. It's gonna be hectic. Xavier are just gonna turn it up to another level, I'm expecting.
Well, are we going to have an all-Japanese grand final, or will Thailand get a leg in and perhaps another shot at a 6 Invitational? Join us in just a few minutes. We'll be back, so come and stick around.
The future is now. it's too dark for you to see, you'll be close to me. I'll give you an opportunity, a sense of liberty, liberty. Say my name in the dark. Now you're in, haven't you heard? Meet my friends, we're all here. You don't need to feel like dancing, you better keep on dancing. We'll be here for one more song. You don't need to feel like singing, but you better keep on singing. We'll be your friends if you sing our song. You wanna be blinded by the light, a creature of the night. You wanted a different kind of game, but the rules are still the same, still the same. Say my name in the dark. There's no out, haven't you heard? You met my friends, we're still here. You don't need to feel like dancing, you better keep on dancing. We'll be here for one more song. You don't need to feel like singing, but you better keep on singing. We'll be your friends.
G'day guys and welcome back on in. We're here for potentially the final map of the night. It feels like it's flown, but well, Xavier did pretty well to take that game against Guts, and well, that leads them in a one map advantage. It could all be done here on map number 2, guys, but Guts, it is their map pick.
Indeed. Will Guts have the goods here on this second map? Tough to say. I think Xavier played into their playstyle on map number 1. They set the pace and they played the way that they wanted to. Guts struggled to shut that down. If that continues into the second map, Guts might have some serious issues.
Yeah, and I think that coming into this series, we weren't really sure either way it would split, but let's have a look at the map veto and see how we ended up where we are at the moment. I was saying I reckon it's going to be all 3. But now I'm not so sure. Theme Park is definitely going to have to be a big one for Guts, as Cafe has already fallen in for Xavier. But if Guts do win this, we will head to Oregon afterwards. I don't know. Do you reckon it's going to be done in 2, or are we going to see the full distance?
Yeah, it's difficult to say because the one thing that we highlighted in the pre-show when we went over the initial map veto is the fact that Theme Park is a map that's often banned by Guts. In fact, it's their second most banned map this year, and actually just looking across to Xavier, it's actually their second most, or it was third just most banned map. So neither of these teams actually play Theme Park a whole lot. In fact, combined, they've actually only played it 7 times. That's not a lot, really, when you consider just how many maps have been played this year across APAC North and the majors, etc., etc. So, very much an unknown quantity. Who knows? Maybe Guts will be really good. We just have to get in the server and find out.
Yeah, I think it's a good point to bring up that Theme Park is not a favored map for either team, which sees it as kind of a curveball thrown here by Guts. But if you do look into their history, yeah, they've actually had some pretty good games. Funnily enough, frequently when it's been picked against them by the other team, they beat Fav 7-1 already so far in the just the other day in the quarterfinals of this qualifier, and they also beat, believe it or not, Cloud9 way back in the November Major on this very map on Theme Park when Cloud9 picked it. So I do feel like there is some merit to Guts taking us here, but it's going to be a bit of a risk, I feel.
Yeah, it's always tough. Xavier, they love to play aggressive. We've said it time and time again, and Theme Park is not traditionally an aggressive map. I think I can pretty confidently say sometimes it's the slowest and the most methodical of maps, but that might not be the case here, Dev. Let's jump in.
Who knows? It is theme park on the new meta, and that means anything's possible, especially when you've got a team like Xavier in the server. Just look at Onigiri's cheeky smile. I can never get past that. Let's see if Guts has got what it takes, got the guts, if you like, to take us all the way to map 3.
Straight into the ban phase. Let's kick things off nice and quickly. Xavier to take Ying off the board first up. That's a ban that we saw at map number 1. In fact, I believe it was actually Guts that took it off on that occasion, so they're just flipping that one around. It was Nomad that was the second ban on Cafe. Maybe we'll see that Flank Watch taken down again, but no, on this occasion, it'll actually be a hard breach in Ace. Of course, quite commonly picked, quite powerful across the board. Even after the Selmas being significantly nerfed, they only open up 2 slits now, or 2 lines of sight downwards, but still strong. Let's not get that wrong. Keen to see what these defensive bans will be. We saw Wamai and Valk on map number 1. We could see something similar here on Theme Park. I wouldn't be too surprised. Valk is the first. That is some intel gathering off the board. And if we do see that Wamai taken off the board, that, of course, will take away some of that projectile denial. I reckon we might see it. Xavier, will they take it off the board? Let's find out.
Surely. I mean, it is their most banned defensive operator. Well, 40% of the games that they've played this year, they've banned this operator. I would be very surprised if they don't. Now, let's have a look, indeed. So, obviously, it does mean that the environment is a bit more favored towards the attackers in terms of destroying any bulletproof utility that you bring to the table. You just need to deal with those 3 ADSs, and then it's fair game. Chuck your nades in, what have you. And of course, with the way that Jaeger ADSs work now, like, just to reiterate, it's just completely different. Like, instead of having like 2 charges per ADS, you have to sync 2 flashbangs to get rid of it completely. Each ADS now will soak up 1 throwable and then be on cooldown for 10 seconds, and then soak up 1 throwable, cooldown for 10 seconds, etc., rinse and repeat. So over time, these ADXs can actually catch a lot more than they used to, but it's just about teams coordinating well to make sure that once they burn the ADS, they use that window of 10 or 15 seconds to then use a follow-up grenade to destroy whatever utility
Attackers
ADS.
need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Indeed, we talk about Jaeger, and Red Sun will be playing that operator once again. In fact, he was the linchpin of the very last round, the winning round for Xavier over on Cafe, hitting a massive 3K on the flank late round. So not only is he bringing valuable utility to the board, the only real projectile denial utility available, of course, Rudy not playable and competitive as of yet in quarantine. But he also has the carbine. He can hit some nut shots, get some kills on the board, and kills always reign supreme at the end of the day. Looking at the setup here from Xavier, Capcan on the board, an operator that doesn't see a whole lot of play. I wouldn't say it's super duper rare, but it's definitely not common. And that's something that Guts will need to be aware of, and something they will need to clear if they try and clear the map across.
Yeah, you know, I actually really love the Capcan pick, especially if a team, it just slows them down. It's like 1 extra little step that they have to check for, and if they don't check the doorway, if they don't drone it or face check it as they walk through, well, they lose 60 HP for their troubles. I mean, that's quite a significant detriment, and of course, the implications of that means that you're probably going to lose your next gunfight. You're super vulnerable. So it's just about vigilance for Guts. Are they checking every doorway? And, like, Guts is a team that makes me think vigilance. That is the thing that they're kind of known for in APAC North, is they are one of those more methodical teams. So I think that this may well be all right for them. It's just a question of whether Xavier can psych them out like they already have in the past.
Oh, you know, I'm a bit sad that didn't work, to be honest. That was a nice angle. Probably just created that angle a little bit too late, right?
Yeah. I just realized Red Sun's dead as well. I don't know when that happened, but Onigiri is put onto the pump here and eventually finished off. Man, this is turned out to be the Guts show all day long. 5 versus 2 with more than half the round to go. And there's the Capcan. He's spotted out on the drone, and with the Jackal ping, he can try to create an escape route, but his days are numbered, no doubt about it. The Capcan track can go off. If you can find 1 and a second, Capcan has stepped it up massively, and now Napier is nigh on equalize this man count.
This is gone from impossible to improbable. It's still difficult to see Xavier win this round, considering Napier's quite low and should be cut off if Xavier I mean, sorry, if Guts play it well. It does look like they are giving the defenders a little bit of free roam here at the moment. I mean, even
Bomb located
Sapper's
by
getting quite
attackers.
aggressive over towards Split, and if he can find a pick or even just deny this breach on the wall, that's quite a big impact in this round. Talk about impacts, he does, of course, take that exothermic off the wall. JJ does have a second he can place, but Sapper also does have a second
Oh,
impact.
he baits it.
Thinks better of it, takes it off. Probably a wise decision, but the question is, where are Guts going to enter? They only have 35 seconds now to work. Oh, that's smart.
I didn't like that attempted bait there from JJ. He now tries to put it inside, directly on the metal panel. That's a lovely trick, and it does counter the impact. Napier to find a third on the round, and my goodness, this has turned on its head, but it's all on Sapper now. He has holding the perfect angle. He takes down one. It's a 1v1. There's 2 versus 5. Dream is kept alive, but not for much longer. Yura clutches it out. What a narrow victory for Guts Gaming. Yura holds firm.
Yeah, Guts making that a little bit more difficult than it really should have been. They got so many of the opening picks. They just struggled to translate that into any sort of meaningful control in towards the site. But fortunately, they had enough manpower to trade it out in the end. Messy, but it doesn't matter. You've still got the big 1 on the scoreboard, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. They'll be looking to continue this reign of terror. And interestingly enough, Xavier is actually going to reattempt Armory Throne, and it's not very common these days where teams will reattempt a site that they've just lost, but clearly Xavier have gone, yeah, guys, we kind of just threw in the first 30 seconds, so let's just not do that, and maybe we can hold on.
Let's do some in-depth analysis of that round. How can we not lose like we did? I just don't everyone die at the start of the round.
Don't die, like, obviously.
Easy go. It's just, pretty sure if you don't die, you will almost always win the round. And if you just have to not die.
Oh,
you
well,
win.
technically, maybe not.
Technically.
If the
Well,
bomb
actually-
gets defused, the bomb can get defused, right? You don't have to. There could be 10
That's
people
true.
alive and the bomb gets defused. But
I want to see
don't
like a
think that's ever
program
happened.
that happens that, you know,
Surely
everyone's
not.
just saving
no
the
way.
goo mines for next round.
You'd have to have everyone just like down or something crazy. I don't know. Don't think we'll ever see
Yeah.
that.
Attackers must locate
But you know what
and
we will see,
defuse
Joe?
the bomb.
What are we gonna see, guys?
I'm not sure. We're gonna see Vigil roaming.
Wow.
That's pretty
You
cool.
set yourself up and you just absolutely bombed out that one. So.
I didn't know what I was actually gonna say when I was saying that. Basically, like every time I talk.
Yeah, no, it explains a lot, guys. It really does. Oh, look at
Wow.
Napier. He's just chilling out on the top floor. He's got this
Oh,
vigil.
he
You
gets the
mentioned
kill
this.
here. No. Okay, he didn't.
Hatch just got Hatch just got popped, but Crazy Papillon didn't stay around and meets Napier. Looks like for Guts, but the same kind of stuff once again. Trying to figure out where the Mozzie Pest is. Sees it on the left-hand side, pings it. Wait a second, what? You can sneak
Okay.
past them? This is game-changing.
He
What
must
was
have
that?
placed it too far to the. He must have placed it too far to the right. Sure. Either that, or that is some funky Mozzie Pest. I think he must have got a fraudulent version. It's a fake. I want to see where it's placed. I think it got taken out. Well, you know, talk about they take it out. Lily, good night. See you later. Onigiri try to follow it up here, potentially onto a second. Holding that position over towards the window. That, of course, being a light. He does get the pick. Trading that one back. Minute 35 left on the board. This has just been a strange round. Theme Park is a very strange just map in APAC, I am learning tonight. Very, very weird.
We do have a saying in casting APAC North League. It's in APAC we attack. It's because APAC tends to swing a bit more to the attacking side than some of the other regions, which have historically been more defender-sided than APAC. APAC's still defender-sided, don't get me wrong. The APAC teams do love to attack. But overall, for the defense, it's actually a better result than when there was 1 minute on the clock last time, in the fact that they still have 4 players alive instead of 2. And they found a pick as well.
Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser.
50 seconds now, and sure, Guts have got decent control above, but I'm not sure what pressure they're really exerting in towards the site. maybe they don't even need to. There's only actually 2 members in sight, so 2 roamers here for Xavier, a bit of a 2-2 split, if you would. High risk, high reward. Red Sun is in a great position to maybe collect a couple of kills and close out the round, but he's also in a position where if he gets taken down, he might not have any impact at all. The crazy pattern on finding that pick there onto Napier, that really does open up the round here for Guts.
Red Sun tries to get his flank going, but Yura takes him down. That's huge for Guts' prospects on the round. It might be 2 back-to-back attacks. Just 2 players left, and they're all hiding around Throne. Light may well be able to force this plant on the other side of the objective, but Sapper's done some serious work. He's found 1 kill and 1 injure as well. The cover has to come from JJ on the long angle. The impact comes through. JJ covers off 1. He's trying to cover the second. He lands the headshots. And Guts, a very nice execute, nets them back-to-back victories on Throne attack.
That was really gritty there from Guts. Xavier, they committed to this aggressive roam, and I don't want to be critical of it because, I mean, we saw it on Cafe, right? It was very successful in wasting time. It's just difficult to say if it was really effective late in that round, right? Because they had 2 on site, 2 off site, as I said, and with not much time left, it was a pretty 50-50 game on whether or not they won those ones, and they didn't. And that meant it was a 4-on-2. That was heavily in favor of Guts for that execute because no one was on that side of the map or that side of the objective over towards the yellow stairs to be anywhere close to the planter. So really hard fought there by Guts. A really nice round win for them. And finally, Xavier will take the hint and not go back to Throne.
I think that's the right decision here. I remember wise words from our old friend Monkey Fist. There's always 2 and move, is what he always said. Easy as you like. If you fail a bomb site twice, it's probably an indication that you should change to another bomb site. Now, I think it's a good philosophy at a basic level. I also think that if you know why you lost the round and you think you can implement a fix in the next round, I'm totally down to repeat a bomb site you've lost multiple times in a row.
I know
The more you lose it, the more you learn.
I know that from our ranked adventures, Dev. It doesn't often work. But...
10 seconds
Hey, you just gotta believe, guys. You gotta believe, and you gotta dedicate to learning from your mistakes. Like, when you lose a round, you learn a lot. When you win a round, you don't necessarily learn a lot. And, but at the same time, I do respect Xavier's decision here. I think this was the right choice. Not only is there weaknesses on Xavier's defense, but Guts is particularly proficient at attacking that Throne Arsenal bomb site. I think it's a great site for them. So yeah, Xavier, keep it up, switch things up.
Indeed. How Xavier are going to approach this round and how aggressive they'll be on the roam, right? Because there's been quite a few rounds where multiple members have been roaming. Not uncharacteristic of this team whatsoever, but so far the impact, at least in comparison to Cafe, has felt a little bit limited. And I have to say, from what I'm seeing so far, it looks like it's not a big roam. That said, actually, yeah, Red Sun, he's inside of Drog. That's 1. Hunting for more is being droned out though, so high risk here for the Jaeger. Trying to find that drone eventually does. Utility though will force him out of that position. Good work there from Guts to finally hit the trade.
Took a while, but getting that trade is pivotal. And not only is that a kill to even the man count, but of course Guts now have control of Lab. We talked about the roam game and how it's historically one of Xavier's strengths, playing really loose. And I think not only that, but also the fact that this map is so large, they're 2 primary reasons why we're seeing Guts bring this Jackal. And while it's not necessarily the singular factor as to why Guts has been good on these attacks, I think it's definitely something that's helped out.
Reloading mag.
JJ has the kit downstairs. So then why go for a full arcade push here? The stairs are looking like the only real option to work with, and Zappa shuts one down there with a nitro cell, forcing the vault as well on a Geary, able to swing wide and find that pick. And look, this attack, Dev, it's really just fizzled out. I don't really see Guts getting back into this unless Xavier do something a little bit stupid here, but I highly doubt it. They're just holding angles and waiting for Guts to fall into
nice
their
C4.
sides.
I think that C4 was shot mid-air. Pretty sharp there from Lily to cover his teammate like that. But it's a tall order now for Guts. Xavier have got just about everything they could ask for, and Napew finds the final 2 kills. A pre-placed C4, I believe, and followed up with a nice shot from the MP5. Gaboom, gaboom, and that's Xavier back in the game.
Gaboom.
That's it.
Is that what his gun sounds like? Kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. No,
That's what the C4. That's what the C4 sounds like. The gun is more like.
Ah. That is not what a gun sounds like. That sounds like a water pistol.
Have you ever used the MP5? It's about as hard as a water pistol.
Yeah, I have, and I am very bad with it.
What's your KD on
not-
Lucy, Gus?
Yeah, chat. Do not search Guz Dash on R6 tab. Do not do it. I might lose my job.
You just exposed
If I do,
yourself
if
to
you
the
do.
world. I'm
I know.
thinking, wasn't that casters are all meant to be golds or something? Or I can't remember what it
No,
was.
no, they
I
have to be
actually need to
champs. If
locate
you want to
and
cast,
defuse
if you want to
bomb.
cast 6 Invitational, you have to be a champion caster.
That's right. That explains why.
I don't know how Intero. I don't know how Intero casts it. He must have an ult. 'Cause he's gold, I think.
Yeah, surely. Well, you know what I admire in Xavier? Their persistence. Now, there's 2 ways to look at this. Well done, Xavier. You have persistence. You're going to this bomb site you've already lost twice. What resilience you must have, and a keen eye to change something. And then there's a wise man who once said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. I don't know whether to be a glass half full or a glass half empty kind of guy here, but either way, I respect Xavier.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Yeah, it's a little bit scary. I personally probably would have liked to see them head to office first, but I have faith in Xavier. They're not exactly a pushover team, so there's got to be a reason that they're picking it. They must think, hey, if we do this, we might be able to win this round. If we fix that, we might be able to turn the tide. I would be a little bit concerned for their mental if they do lose it, because that's them losing a site 3 times in a half, which could prove quite costly, particularly on your own map pick. So, or on your opposition's map pick rather. So, who knows? I think the key thing for Xavier is if they're going to commit to this roam, just make sure that it's impactful. And don't be afraid to go back to site when you have the advantage and you have safe passage, because it seems like they just want to commit to it no matter what. And sometimes it does backfire a little bit late round.
Especially Xavier here, they're on the defense, right? And they've only won 1 out of 3 rounds thus far. And looking at the stats, this very bomb site here from APAC North Division, Stage 2, which both of these teams played in, of course. This very bomb site, Armory Throne Room, most defensive favored bomb site in the entire league on any map at 81% defensive. And so far, Xavier has lost it
A bomb
twice.
has been located.
10%. Floor is on.
$25 now. Xavier, how many members do they have on site? It's at least 3. So pretty similar to the last couple of occasions where they've had the 2 roamers. So they haven't really changed that up too much. And I think that Guts have done a good job in preventing them from coming back to site. But they have the rotations cut off. So even my suggestion earlier in the round that maybe they need to default back earlier can't really happen here unless they go for a high-risk play. So I'm liking this from Guts so far. They have time now, of course, to work the hatch with the Maverick. So plenty of time. Sounds like
Why
there
did
might be
Xavier
an
force
extra
Guts'
charge going
hand?
up somewhere as well. Yeah, I mean...
Oh, hello!
Oh! Okay, I was not expecting that, but hello, Onigiri.
I don't think Light was expecting that either, but oh, look at this. Great adaptation from Xavier. 2 ADSs to make it so it's really difficult to clear off those electric laws, but at the end of the day, the job is done. The impact trick misses. JJ gets this breach on barrels, but only 22 seconds left. This will be a bloodbath and a half. Crazy can find one. We're even 4-4. This is going to be very difficult to execute. DCH holding on. Lily drops in, but is met with the spray. Only 2 players, now just 1 left, and Xavier, 3rd time's the charm. They get Throne Room, and they take it for themselves.
Oh, they did it. They did it. Thank goodness. I did not want to have to give them a spray for going there 3 times and losing it. So that's great. Awesome work by them. Again, they just get that monkey off the back. It's an expression I've used a couple of times tonight. They just don't have to worry about that site anymore. In fact, they cannot play it again, right? They'll head over to Initiation. If they win that, then they can probably head to Dorms, I guess, would probably be their next shot. Unless we see Lab, but I kind of doubt it.
Well, after
Unfortunately,
this
not a
round,
site
Bonk
that's really
Daycare
played a
will be
whole
back
lot.
and unlocked again, yeah? So you may as well just head back there. Once it's unlocked,
Yeah,
Bonk
exactly.
Daycare has been successful. Hole in one for Xavier. Guts look pretty lost attacking it. So I feel like that round is...
Attackers need to locate and defuse
We can
bombs.
expect that round will probably fall in favor of Xavier, this next round, after this one. So this one, to me, is the real one I'm looking at and saying, well, Guts can get this. That guarantees, at worst, an even half on a very defensive-favored map. Sets them up pretty well, doesn't it?
Well, it's taken 5 rounds, but we finally are at office initiation, and it looks like Xavier are playing into utility a little bit more than we would typically see.
10 seconds remaining.
They're bringing the Malusi for the Banshees, the Goyo for the Vulcan shields, ADS devices to cover that, and they're even bringing the Mute Mozzie combo, so they're bringing quite a few deadly combinations of operators here to try and slow down the push from Guts and prevent them from progressing through Cash or even from behind over towards Arcade. Keen to see how the attackers will deal with this, because it hasn't felt like really at all in the first 2 maps that Guts have had to clear a lot of utility or a lot of meaningful utility. It's mainly just been hunting down rooms. So this round has the potential to play out quite differently to what they used to.
Ready to breach.
Well, let's see for Guts thus far. They're trying to just take some map control. Pretty simple stuff. Something that Guts is pretty good at as well. At the moment, it's pushing from, what is this, the west side of the map? West to east, map control take, we like to see. There's multiple roamers, though, and as is fairly standard these days, Xavier is extending. They've got to rotate off of the bomb site itself and into dorms, which I quite like. It's going to be how Guts can deal with these roamers. That's going to be so pivotal.
Nice nade from Light. BCH taken off the board. It is, of course, the Malusi. So those Banshees already being pre-placed, don't need to be distributed throughout the round, but of course it is a powerful operator in terms of fragging. Taken down. Talk about powerful operators with utility. JJ is taken down by Nate, who does fall back. And it means that outside of Light, there's no real hard breach, and that Maverick Torch, of course, will take quite a lot of time to work some of these walls. But maybe Guts don't care about that. They're just going to go for kills potentially here and try and frag it out.
Bomb located by attackers.
What I will say is
Attackers
really
dropped
nice,
the
though, for
diffuser.
Xavier, is after
Attackers have
they
recovered their
forfeited
diffuser.
the Bonk's control, they managed to reel off the wall, and as you said, with, well, JJ taken out, it means that it's just on Light. And Light's actually going to get to work with the torch, see what he can do about, as we like to say, Maverick tricking this this wall. But Red Sun's going to contest, and he could find a cheeky pick. Oh no, he missed his
Oh, that's
spot,
so
and
nice.
then he gets punished. Poor lad.
3v... I was going to say 3-on-3. Or 4-on-2, rather, but it is a 3-on-2. Lily, Crazy Papillon over on this western side of the map. They don't know Navy's here. There we go. That's one taken down. Diffuser as well. That's been called out to the team, and Lily now will need to try and find the remaining picks. Not impossible. If he finds this one inside of initiation, the round could well and truly be on. Is aware that there's a player in this objective. Does Lily know? Makes the sound. Hits the barbed wire. Forces the swing. Can't win the fight, though. It's Red Sun. A big couple of kills in the round for him. And Xavier will claim the round.
In classic Xavier fashion as well, right? Just continuing that persistence, that aggression. After an exchange on the roam, I think it was smart from Xavier to reinforce off that wall, and it ended up netting an extra kill for Red Sun, right? Because Light got to work trying to Maverick up that wall, and Red Sun decided to counter that just by proning at the holes, and poor Light lost his head for it. At the end of the day, great round from Xavier, even though it may have appeared to be clutchable at points. But that does leave us in a situation where Xavier can redeem pretty confidently. I think that if you're not even an optimist, if you're just a realist, you would expect Xavier to win this next round here. Just
Attackers need
repeat
to
the feat
locate
that they
and
already
defuse
did,
as many bombs as
defending
they
Bunk
can.
Daycare, and that would give them a 4-2 half, which is pretty good, honestly.
Yeah, not bad. Good size. Our APAC
Aye,
league
mate.
set. Go cop it. Pretty nice,
Yes.
I must say.
Yes. I'm not sure whether the Blitz one is still available, but I copped that. That was pretty good. For all the times that I played Blitz.
I don't play Blitz,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
You're lost, mate. I'm pretty sure. So Napier's trying to jump up on this this bit. You can jump up from the top, unless if they've
5
changed the vault
seconds to go.
points. You have to jump onto the railing
You
and
can. I remember trying this the other day.
Attackers
I
must
don't
locate
think you
and
can.
defuse a bomb.
It's weird, right? You sprint from the top of the stairs down, and it gives you the prompt. But no matter how much you spam vault, I just couldn't get it. So maybe it is like a frame perfect trick you can,
They
but
changed it.
I don't know.
Did they change it?
I think
Because you used to be able to get up there.
Yeah, I know you did. Yeah.
Well, the more you know.
well.
I mean, I definitely would trust Onigiri more than me. So if he reckons he can't do it, then I believe him.
I'm liking the Jackal being brought to board here from Guts. Obviously, great operator and locating where roamers are playing alongside drones. It complements them really nicely and being able to track where roamers are positioned, particularly if the defense is playing the likes of a Vigil. Of course, on this round, you can see at the right of screen, they're not. But there have been rounds where Xavier were, so good foresight here from Guts. I'm not sure exactly where the Jackal will enter. Maybe to try and cut off some players below, but just looking briefly around the map, it's not like there's anyone doing a super crazy roam, at least near where the Guts are trying to enter at the moment. Sure, maybe on a Onigiri, but this should just be droned out. This should be a simple drone out and a cutoff here for the...
Spot him. He gets the drone. May well get away unscathed as well. He's got the Vulcan shield to contest with. He's always going to be favored in a fight like this. Flashbang goes through. He's not fully flashed. He thinks twice about reinforcing off that wall. He's likely to lose this fight, but what is that? Absolutely disgusting is what it is, and he takes off Light's head with a mere spray from the SMG-11. The Vulcan shield detonates, meaning that Onigiri can't reinforce it off, but he can just retreat back to the bomb site.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Now with a minute to go on the board, it's up to Guts to work out how they want to try and execute on towards the site. Keep in mind that these walls have been
Bomb
reinforced to the
located
east.
by attackers.
Bandit batteries have been placed to try and make that even more difficult, and I'm not sure how they're going to deal with that. Of course, Light on the Maverick has been taken down, leaving it up to JJ with the exothermic charges. But if they can't get the wall open, they might well struggle to execute in towards side. Maybe they actually did get it open. I can't quite see. Maybe? I couldn't catch it.
Which
I hope they've got it open. The initiation wall.
The initiation.
Oh, they do. Okay, thank
it was
God.
never fully real.
It was extended.
It was,
okay,
it was
good.
never fully
I thought it might have got
yeah.
reinforced after the fact when Onigiri got the
No,
pick. But he
I
didn't.
missed it.
So Guts are just going to have to send it through this hole.
I'm just gonna send it. Euro, what you got for us? You're gonna make an entry. 4v4, nice shot there. But do you know that there's a player in break? You might, but you don't realize there's a player at the ATM. Red Sign finds a double. Surely he gets picked. No, a triple. Falling the 4K. It's stolen by Onigiri, but Red Sun, he got it in spirit. Xavier, shoot fish in a barrel and lock in that round and secure the half 4-2.
Yeah, it was always going to be a tricky execute, right? They literally had 1/2 entrances, I guess, if you want to count waiting as well. It's the same cross to deal with, though, right? And they just walked in, just get absolutely sprayed down. It's unfortunate end there for the half. There for the attack. But not all lost. Guts Gaming still hanging on. Keeping in mind that, sure, in APAC, Theme Park isn't as heavily defender-sided as some may expect, but it is still leaning in favor of the defense. And Guts, a 2-4 is passable, right? There's they can easily come back from this. I wouldn't be too stressed.
Yeah. The main thing that concerns me really is for Guts is just the fact that the momentum is just gone to shot. Like
Attackers
really,
need to
they won
locate
2
and
rounds at
defuse
the
as many
start,
bombs as they
back-to-back
can.
attacks on the Throne and Armory, and then they lost every other round, including a subsequent attack on the Throne and Armory. So momentum is well and truly in Xavier's favor, and while they've started on their preferred side of defense, they're going to have to hack it on attack as well. They do have a bit of a round buffer here. They've got a little distance that they've managed to stretch between themselves and Guts. But all they need to do here is drop 3 attacks and they'll take this map and hence the series 2-0. And of course meet Cyclops, who are waiting for them tomorrow night in that grand final. But this is Guts' map pick, and we expected this series would go to 3 maps. So I've got to say, I don't want to count Guts out yet. I think they've got a serious shot here at the comeback on the defense.
Yeah, and you mentioned Cyclops, of course. They played earlier tonight. They took down Mercenaries 2-0. Probably chilling in the stream right now. Checking out both Guts and Xavier. I'd be interested to know who they would prefer for verse, right? Because it's not like Guts or Xavier, either of them would really be a pushover. So I'm not sure. I'd say, I don't know, I feel like Xavier's a stronger team, right? But then Guts, they probably versed him quite a bit in the likes of Japan, the Japan Championship, etc. So I feel like they both have their pros and cons if you are a Cyclops fan.
I feel like there's almost no one who wants to play Xavier, honestly, in the world. It's like, you really want to play against that kind of play style. Yeah, it's just super annoying. Like, you look at a team like Giants, as good as they are, they always hit a hurdle when they play against Xavier. We've seen Xavier manhandle teams before. They punish you for the slightest mistake. And Guts is a very good team, very methodical, quite on the opposite end of the spectrum to Xavier. But hello, Red Sun takes down JJ. I'm going to say that I reckon Cyclops would want to play against Guts and have an all-Japanese grand final. But it doesn't look likely at the moment. Xavier has had such a strong start and are well on track for a flawless round. As I say that, I jinx it. Onigiri gets shut down, but there's only one player left, and it's over really before it even started. Napu finds the final 3 kills. And Xavier swiftly take their first attack round. That's 5 in a row.
Very quickly dealt with. That I didn't even register that the round had really started, to be honest. It was action phase, and then about a minute later, oh, Xavier, they win the round. Okay, cool. 5-2, the lead. I don't even know what to say about that. It was just the Napu show. He just walked in and clicked heads. I didn't see any util get cleared. I didn't see much droning. It was, yeah, just Xavier. That's the analysis. Just Xavier, period. Not much more to say about that.
This is great. I'm sure that there's some, like, you know, tier 1 teams looking for an analyst. You should probably apply. It's pretty mad skills that you got there. I feel like you really bring a lot to the table.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
No
I'm
response.
trying to think of a counter post here. I can't think of anything family friendly. So unfortunately, I'm just gonna have to wear that one.
Oh, all right. Well, for the benefit of you guys at home, I will get the same face today. But man, I mean, you weren't talking about momentum, right? Xavier has just won 5 rounds in a row, 4 defenses and then an attack. Guts is well and truly falling behind at the moment. They've fallen to the wayside, and while they might have had some good attacks at the start,
10 seconds remaining.
this is slipping through their fingers like sand, and it's only a matter of time before they're facing match point and a serious point in elimination from the bracket, and hence their chance of finally going to a global event, be it a 6th Invitational or otherwise.
Yeah, and I mean, carrying on from the sand analogy, it has always, I guess, felt like Guts have just buried their heads in the sand, right? They just haven't really felt like they're in the server having a meaningful impact in most of these recent rounds. It's just, we're just spectating Xavier, just get kills again. Like, where is this happening? Where is that kill?
They're inside.
They're
in the bomb site.
Oh, is it?
They've just completely rushed the bomb site. Now it's all on Guts to retake. It's a bloodbath back and forth. But Xavier stand tall at the end of it. Onigiri nearly loses his life to the electrified wall. But thankfully, he gets off just in time. Start planting. The air jab is not merciful to Crazy Papillon. He has to retake against 3 players. Xavier put themselves on match points in a stylish fashion.
Yeah, I'm laughing, but I really shouldn't. I don't know how else to react to that. it was literally like 15 seconds into the round, not even, and they're just inside. How does that happen? I've never seen that,
We're trying to
ever.
like storyline and stuff. We're trying to like build up expectations and like, you know, let you know what the history and what this means for these teams. And Xavier's like, shut up, Dev. I just want to finish the game already. Six rounds in a row. Like,
I was just gonna say, often as casters, we're complaining that there's too much downtime. We have to spend too much time filling, but Xavier's just doing us a good deed here. I mean, yeah,
I don't know if you use on
we
my
just don't have
skill,
time.
bro.
It's literally just 30 seconds. We've got about 30 seconds to talk about what we're thinking, and then the round has basically almost ended. I don't know how Guts probably aren't thinking right now. Like,
oh, man.
yeah, I was
Attackers
too.
need to locate and defuse as
I
many
was preparing
bombs
for like
as
a
they
3
can.
a.m. finish tonight. You know, we started pretty late. You know, 2 best of 3s can go pretty long if you have 6 maps and if you have a couple long ones. And yeah, we had 1 overtime. Would you believe if the Mercenaries Cyclops game ended up being longer than the Xavier Guts game does? Like, if you told me that earlier tonight, I'd be like, you're pulling my leg, mate. Come on.
Yeah, I might go turn the shower on by the time the hot water's on. I think this match might be over, to be honest. If this continues, seriously, this has just been
10 seconds
crazy.
left.
Surely Xavier don't do another rush, right? I mean, if they do, that's just going to be absolutely demoralizing for Guts. Like, please do not get rushed. Come on.
Attackers' objective is to locate a bomb
This is
and
Guts'
defuse it.
map pick, right? And the last 2 rounds in a row, they just haven't been able to find their footing on defense. Like, yeah, maybe this new meta should favor the attackers a little bit more, but that doesn't swing like a 64% favored defensive map completely the other direction. This is Xavier taking matters into their own hands and saying, look, mate, we got 3rd place in the November Major for APAC North, and we think that we can take it not only to Guts, but also to Cyclops and punch our ticket for the very first time to a global event.
Well, this round has lasted longer than the last, so that is a nice sign here for Guts. Xavier, a little bit more measured in this round, which is surprising to say. Oh, there's a player pushing down long. That's Yura. Oh no, that's unfortunate. Onigiri to find that pick, going 12-4 here on Theme Park, looking for more blood as well. Surely they don't give him this pick. Oh, has that player been flashed? Onigiri might have been able to act upon that. Decides not to. It is JJ, probably running shotgun as well. So it would be a risky fight to take this early in the round.
JJ hears the Claymore be placed. He knows he can't make that rotation any longer. Only a matter of time before the Xavier monster
Bomb
starts
located by
to
attackers.
rear its ugly head and bare its fangs. For Guts to behold,
Located a bomb.
Red Sun deals with that mute jammer, enables Sapper to detonate the exothermic, and Xavier, they've got so much time. And just about every single tick box has been checked.
I mean, it really just comes down to who can be cleaner in the execute here, because it's a 4-on-4. The walls that you expect to be open are, and it's up to Guts to just hold on. Still have a really nice shield here over towards the back of the site, which can help hold against that push. In initiation, oh, Napier. He did it to him. JJ taken off the board. That may well open up this ATM position. If they get control of this corridor, it's very difficult to see Guts bring this one back.
45 seconds left. And this is Xavier's chance to take us all the way to the grand final. Guts is just going to hold on as best they can. 3 versus 4 from their perspective, but Xavier haven't been letting up. Not all game. Crazy tries to make a play, but Xavier's got all the info they could want, and he punishes that run out. 20 seconds left for the tie to make their execute happen. Here on match point, the flashes push on forward. Red Sun to confirm it. And that is Xavier to punch a ticket through the grand final. An incredibly convincing attack half here on Theme Park puts Guts to bed.
Dominant from Xavier. A 7-2 in the end. 7 rounds straight, Dev. Insane here on Theme Park, showing that in APAC, anything is possible on the attack. A great performance from Xavier. They lock their spot, as he said, in that grand final, and rightfully so. The stronger team in this best of 3. A 2-0 in the end. As clean as you would like, and I think they will be very happy with that result.
When you finish off your opponent's map pick 7 rounds in a row and then take the series, there is no two ways about it. That is pure dominance, and Xavier absolutely deserved to be in that grand final. But it's not going to be easy. They're going up against Cyclops, who time and time again has proved to be a challenge. That said, Xavier has got the last laugh so far and took that third place match against Cyclops in the third place match of the November Major. So I have a feeling Xavier might have something going for them. We do have a Japan in Cyclops versus Xavier Thailand grand final. So still a chance for 2 new nations to join the Six Invitational.
Yeah, I am actually really excited for this grand final. I think it's set up to be a really fun matchup, right? We've got Cyclops, who haven't had an amazing year, trying to have a little bit of a redemption story of their own and keep the Japan fans really happy. We want to see them represented at SI. But then, of course, we have Xavier, the crazy team, the wild card, the Thai boys, trying to represent their nation as well at SI. They are going to clash heads tomorrow night. I don't know what we're going to expect. I think it's going to be some crazy siege. I don't want to be observing it because there's just going to be so much going on, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun to cast. And yeah, I'm keen to see who comes out on top, because only one team does get that spot at SI.
Which seems criminal, honestly. I feel like I would love to see both Cyclops and Xavier, who are both incredibly strong and unique teams in their own right. I think that they both deserve to be at Six Invitational, but you know, we can only have 20 teams. We can't have everyone. We can't play favorites. So one's got to go. We'll find out tomorrow night who it's going to be. And it's an impossible one to split until we get into the server for me. Cyclops has been so good all year long. Well, maybe it didn't start so well once APAC North began, but they started to find their form once again, and they had an incredibly dominant stage 2 as well. I think that Cyclops, when they're playing top form, are the second best team in APAC, even better than C9. But who knows? We'll see. Xavier's going to be a massive fight. Let's have a look at the bracket, recap the matches we've had today, and of course, tease that ever-anticipated game that is tomorrow. CAG versus Xavier for the grand final for a slot at Six Invitational, the World Championship. That's what everyone's here for.
That's exactly right. Of course, today, though, was the semi-finals. We kicked things off with Cyclops up against Mercenaries, the only hope for South Asia as a region in this bracket. Unfortunately, Mercenaries did fall short, but it was a really great effort for them on concert. They took Cyclops all the way to the very end in OT. Cyclops, of course, though, did progress with a 2-0. And then, of course, we are just coming off the back of Xavier Esports and Guts Gaming. Xavier, just too good. 2-0 in the end. Very dominant there on Theme Park, and it sets us up, as we said, for a really awesome grand final. And both of these teams are a great chance of qualifying for SI.
Yeah, you definitely want to be there. Don't miss that. Tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Singapore time, SGT, or, well, what would be 10 p.m. EEDT. What is it? 11:30, 12 CET, something like that. You guys, make sure you guys are there. Honestly, I don't want to miss it. I'm so stoked already. I'm getting absolutely shivers just thinking about it. This is going to be a tight match and a massive rematch as well. Cyclops, you know that meme from Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone where it's like, why is it that whenever anything happens, it's always you three? I feel like it's that when it comes to third and fourth place, it's always Cyclops and Xavier who are vying for it. So, I don't know. Last thoughts, Gus. What do you reckon?
I mean, you were hyping up Cyclops a little bit before. I feel like you might be in their camp. I'm going to go Xavier. I'm all Xavier. I'm here for the rank strats. I'm here for just running in, gunning, having a bit of fun. I'm back in Xavier tomorrow night, just for the lulz. I reckon it'll be fun, though.
Japan and Thailand, only one of them will make it to Six Invitational for the World Championship in February. Who will it be? Make sure that you come along tomorrow night, 7 p.m. SGT. We'll be there. I hope you will too. Anyway, for now, have a good night.
When it's dark for you to see, you'll be close to me. sense of liberty, liberty. Say my name in the dark. Now you're in, haven't you heard? Meet my friends, we're all here. You don't need to feel like dancing. You better keep on dancing. We'll be here for one more song. You don't need to feel like singing, but you better keep on singing. We'll be your friends if you sing our song. You won't be blinded by the light, a creature of the night. You wanted a different kind of game, but the rules are still the same, still the same. Say my name in the dark. There's no out, haven't you heard? You met my friends, we're still here. You don't need to feel like dancing. You better keep on dancing. We'll be here for one more song. You don't need to feel like singing, but you better keep on singing. We'll be your friends if you sing our song. I try my best to fight it, can't deny it. Touches diamonds, and you're probably the reason that I'm so messed up too. I can't stop it, it's ugly but honest. Got me tripping for the way you say my name, say my name, say my name. Could count the ways you drive me so insane, but when you call I still fall back into your game. Play the game, play the game. Wrong can still be right. People wanna tell me all the time that someday my prince will come, but if this ain't love then I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. Hands are in my denim, but your heart's not with them. Tearing up the thought of all the pieces missing. And I try to know better, to know it's worse. I swear I'm cursed, 'cause I know you're bad for me, but it makes no So now you're here again, knocking at my door. A little too late for, I'm sorry for. The lights went out cause you kept cutting the cord, and I started to fade into your gray. See, I finally opened up my eyes, and I saw me coming back to life. That I'd be better without you inside. It's time to be someone I wanna recognize. The future starts right now. I made a reservation, but you never came, so I'm checking out. The fire you stole away, I know one day we'll come back around. The future is now. The future is now. The future is now. I waited for you in the passenger seat. There's only so far I can ride in your dreams. While you were chasing everything else but me, I'm starting to break out from your gray. See, I finally opened up my